Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all nerds! International. With the hyphen.
Yeah, but do you know what the worst would be? The worst thing would be if you came back, if you fed a Venus a crisp to a Venus flytrap and you came back and it was gone. That would be horrible. Imagine that. And the Venus flytrap was really massive. And you were like, oh no, it's hungering for more. And then you come back later and it's by the vending machine.
No. Trying to put money, trying to understand what money is. No, it wasn't hanging on the phone.
I need crisps. Give me crisps.
Like Cookie Monster. But...
Venus crisp trap. Coming at you live from a back alley in Gotham, it's me, Nick Lambslice.
Me, James Pumpkin.
And me, Harrison Hunt, aka Calico Jack.
And we are
the Tabletop Twats. And this is an RPG show all about tabletop RPGs. And today we've got so many segments, it's going to blow your fucking head off.
Eyeballs are going to fall out.
Exactly. Well, yeah, if you haven't got a head, you ain't got eyeballs.
Yeah, deal with it.
So we got feedback from the last episode. We've got what you've been slaying, where we talk about what we've been playing. And we've got the main subject, which this week is going to be the Blackwood Errantry Codex, which is a new fantasy / fairy tale / wuxia kung fu setting for Savage Worlds.
There's hedges in it.
There's hedges. Fact. And then we got the Chamber of Challenges, we got Song Fight Mini, and we got Electro Letters. It's going to be a good show, isn't it, guys?
It's going to be a great bloody show.
It's going to be off the wall.
Smashing.
So let's get on with it and let's do this, motherfuckers. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback section. This is the feedback side, and we got an email from Owen Lean. He said, at the end of the last episode, you asked where the books in which the oldest tricks were written in were. Here. It's here.
Okay.
And then he included a Wikipedia link to The Discovery of Witchcraft. Literally the first magic book ever written. So, yeah, if you want to know where the oldest tricks were written, it's in a book called The Discovery of Witchcraft. So,
cheers, Owen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
well, actually, no, you don't really want to use that book, because if they're the oldest tricks, everyone already knows them.
That's
right?
true.
So, because everyone always says, oh, that's the oldest trick in the book, mate.
Is the oldest trick in the book literally the first trick written in that book?
Yeah, so like you open page 1 and it says, if you wish to deceive somebody, say, look over there.
Yeah, and then run away. Yeah, exactly. Cool. I'm going to buy that for Christmas.
Last episode we did our RPG poems, and Conrad Erasmus Neubert has come in and he sent us his own poem.
Nice.
Yeah.
He says, hi, I wrote a German and an English version. I challenge you to read them both.
Alright.
I'll give the German one a go.
Yeah, go on, mate. This will be a laugh.
Das Fantasy-Rollenspiel, ein kurzer Einführung. I don't know this next one.
This is, okay, we should probably warn people this is going to get offensive.
This is first time read, by the way, by Nick.
Spieler feilen, filgen, sprechen. Schwätzer schweigen, totten Drachen. Spiele scheigen, manka zechen. Manka singen alla lecken.
I'll say the English version. The Fantasy RPG, a short introduction. The arrow aim and speak the spell. Swing the sword, a fiend to kill. The players gain joy, so swell. Praise the Lord, for everybody gets their fill. Humble greetings, Conrad.
I don't think Humble Greetings, Conrad was part of the poem.
But that's the section of English translation. So
I'd like it if all poems end with just kind regards, James.
Like a letter, yeah.
Hark the Raven. Kind regards,
Mike. So if there's any German people out there, Manuel, and any other German listeners, let me know why I did that.
Conrad.
Well, I can tell that you mispronounced that.
Yeah.
And Conrad, you said if there's any German listeners, I think the German guy that sent that in.
Is he German as well?
Yeah, of course he is.
No.
He wrote a German
Just
poem.
no German.
He just decided to write a German poem.
He might
point.
just have like a doctorate in German language.
You might be right. And also Matt Stark has some feedback. He said we asked people to vote on our poems, and he says my vote is for James's poem. Harrison's was a bit more like a short story in the poem. It was a bit of a toss-up between James's and Nick at first, but James had better delivery.
Yeah,
Cheers, mate.
He is absolutely right there because, I felt that because James really gave it his all with the delivery. I did when I edited it. I put in those like applause sounds. I did try to. I knew that was the case even when I was editing it. I was listening to it back. I was like, yeah, mine does go on a bit, and then I sort of. I could see that James's was the best, so I gave him the biggest applause.
I see.
Cheers. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
So cheers for that, mate. And he says, as a side note, maybe you could keep the games you play that were paid for by patrons for patrons only. Just a thought. So what he's referring to there is the fact that with some of the Patreon money that we had coming in, what we did is we bought things either to review or to play for our actual plays, and the reason that we did that was because we didn't want the money simply to go, oh yeah, it's going on fees to keep the show alive.
Yeah.
So the way we did it instead was we wanted to turn it into actual content, actual stuff that you could see and feel happening. See, there are fees associated with the show, obviously, and essentially Nick still pays those. He literally still pays those, and what we do with the money is actually turn it into something more tangible. So the actual plays are something that we wanted you guys to have, and we don't want to block those behind a paywall, because we feel like that's unfair. And we also don't want those to just be for patrons, and if patrons want to support that and get that out to as many people as possible, then thank you very much for doing that. We think that's amazing,
and we will do little things for them.
Hopefully we want to do more stuff that's exclusive for the patrons as well, little things. But if you feel as if that's not a good use of your money, then by all means do not pay for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, but that's the way we think that it's decent.
We like to recycle the money back into the show to make the show better. That's
exactly.
The idea,
we don't want it to just go on boring things like hosting things.
Well, it keeps our show going. Enough of that.
Yeah.
We don't make any money from that.
No, this is a labour of love. We enjoy doing this, and if we can get if we can get more content out of it from the lovely listeners, then so be it. We first
exactly, and we want to turn your hard earned cash into hard work
content.
Exactly. So, that's it for feedback from the last episode. So let's get the fuck on with what we've been playing in RPGs this week.
Oh boy.
Oi! Yeah? What you slaying?
Alright, so this week in gaming, right, we had one of the funniest games we ever had.
Oh god, yeah.
I wanna lead with our Call of Cthulhu game.
Okay. Alright, cool.
Because we started a Gotham game run by our mate Peter, and this was using the Call of Cthulhu
7th edition
engine to do it, right?
Yeah.
This was one of the most whacked out, nutty games
ridiculous game
we've ever played. This was amazing, right?
It was so cracking. For a first session, I know Pete's done one shot before, but this is Pete's first DMing experience of a long campaign. And this session 1 of it, he just hit it flying, mate. It's wicked.
And the puns were so heavy.
It was getting stupid. so basically, the premise of this is that we were all we actually all decided that we were sort of vigilantes.
Yeah.
But we didn't actually have to be. He said that we could just be anyone we wanted in Gotham. We had to live in Gotham or be in Gotham at the time of this campaign starting.
Yep.
And we all wanted to choose very comic booky characters. So we'll just introduce kind of like our characters and we'll try to be brief. So my character, as far as you guys know, he's a journalist.
Yep.
And his name is when you guys asked him his name, he goes, my name's James Chugbolt.
That's it.
And then nobody believes that he's a journalist, and he's got one leg, an eye patch, and at one point when he went insane, he revealed that his cane that he uses to walk actually had a sword hidden inside it, and he's unbelievably good at hacking as well, which is something that came up.
Yeah, with his PDA.
Yeah, with his PDA, which is like a powerful computer. And James, your character is...
My character's his name's John Draper, and he's basically a plumber. That's really pretty much it. He's a plumber.
But he fights
slash vigilante. He fights with a
giant wrench.
We titled it the heirloom wrench. I found this amazing stock photo of this dude holding this massive wrench, and so that's him.
But he goes out and fights crime at night with a giant wrench. And what's his...
known as the Wrenchman.
Yeah, the Wrenchman. And Nick, your character?
My character's name is Stephen Kong. He's the local butcher. He's a fat, balding, middle-aged man, and he doesn't watch much TV, but he does have a almost like, because he's lived in Gotham all his life, he has a civic sense of pride or whatever.
Yeah.
And so at night he goes out and again he's a bit of a vigilante, but because he's not that tough, he's more of a person that picks on like litterers and like jaywalkers and stuff, like Casey Jones from
doesn't he
Teenage
chop
Mutant
them
Ninja Turtles.
up with...
He does chop them up now, yeah.
So he rides a rally
Chopper, yeah,
bike,
and his name of the night is the Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he picks some people for minor misdemeanors and kills them.
He don't kill them.
Oh, he
chops them.
He cuts
Makes them remember. Yeah, so if you get caught littering, you're losing a digit.
You're losing a digit.
By the masked Chopper.
And then we've got the deliverer, who's a delivery man.
Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin.
Gavin Theo is James
and
Thomason's
he's
character.
like a little kid, and he's like, okay, then we got the next one that's coming in as well, who's Ryan's character, who's a wannabe Batman guy.
Batman fanboy, isn't he?
He's a Batman fanboy.
Biggest
So he
fan.
wanted to copy Batman's backstory. So he was inspired by a time he fell into a lake and nearly drowned, and then he became Beaver Boy.
Yes.
And when he became Beaver Boy, he decided to fight with a log.
Yeah.
And when he hits people, his catchphrase is "Damn."
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
Right, odd bunch.
all of our characters got captured by the Joker and woke up in a cell, and we discerned using the delivery. What's his name? The deliverer.
Yeah.
Using his skills, he sort of, when we first got the chance to look out of a window, we discerned where we were, because he's so used to delivering.
He's got a great kind of
Delivery
feel for
sense.
areas.
Yeah. He looked out of a window and we discerned that we were actually in Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
And that the Joker had somehow taken it over and set up all these traps.
And at this point, the manor's actually really dilapidated and stuff. So everything's like the rooms are all gross, and there's walls that are breaking.
Yeah,
and it's
we wake up in a cell.
nasty.
Joker shows himself with his two dogs, starts laughing at us.
And he says that we have to find 3 people that Bruce Wayne loves.
That's it.
And to get out, right?
Otherwise,
and the best bit was like, well, no, there were so many amazing bits. But then there was a bit where we then like get attacked by 3 knife-wielding maniacs, which can be abbreviated to KWM. And I don't know if this is a British thing.
No, it is Quim.
Yeah, Quim, which means vagina. So
For the whole night.
For the whole night, we were like, okay, I'll attack the Quim.
I've got to get the Quim.
I'm gonna
Quims and everywhere.
I'm going to punch him in the Quim.
Yeah.
And then Nick's character, right, I think you got like knocked over, tripped up, and then Peter says, okay, you're rolling down the hallway now, right? Yeah. And then it gets to Nick's turn. So he rolls like agility or something, gets out of the roll, and then Pete's like, okay, so what do you do? And he's like, well, I'm just going to roll back. So he rolled back down the hallway to try and attack him. And then missed.
Yeah.
And then next turn comes up and he's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, just roll back and try and hit him again. So the whole combat, Nick just was rolling forwards, then rolling
with a
back
knife,
again.
with a knife coming out the side
the
of it.
cleaver, yeah.
Now, the way that we all imagined it, as we commented it on, was if anyone listening has seen Hook, you remember you remember the kid who rolls down the stairs, exactly rolling like that.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it was amazing.
So
and so you're like,
funny.
I'm rolling at the Quim. I roll back towards the Quim. I roll back towards the Quim.
All right, miss.
And
Right, go
then
again.
during this, I was going insane because I'd just seen a big load of blood on the floor, and it
Yeah,
reminded
insanity.
me of an injury that I had once.
Yeah.
And then we saw Harvey Two-Face, didn't we? But for some reason there was a coin in an oven, and it was his coin, and I got it, and we killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I killed him with my wrench.
Yeah, but then did his body disappear?
Yes.
He just disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just blinked out of existence.
his
didn't
body
he?
disappeared. We found Commissioner Gordon in a vent, and when
Yeah.
we found him, he also just disappeared, like
Yeah, we just
a hologram.
That's
And
right.
now,
Yeah.
at this moment, we were just like, "What the fuck's going on?" And we thought, "Oh, it's got to be the Scarecrow."
That's right. Yeah, we thought it was an hallucinogenic episode or
And
something,
then,
didn't
but
we?
it was like as we did it, we said, "Oh yeah, you can discern that these are the similar kind of effects as to when the Scarecrow did his attack on the city."
Yeah,
so we were
something
like,
like
"Oh,
that.
clearly he's involved then. Like, what the fuck's going on?" So, like, we're all shouting like at the CCTV camera, being like, "Oh, you're in," to the Joker, like, "You're in cahoots with Harvey Dent or the Scarecrow and all this," and then it's just like we weren't getting anywhere with that.
But yeah, the funny thing was that when we saw this skylight in the kitchen that led to like the other floor, and the best thing was as we were trying to climb it, right, and there was all this grease all over the oven, and we were like, he was like, "Oh, there's loads of fat all over the oven," and we were like, what was he trying to cook? And the only thing we saw in the oven was the coin, and so he was like, "Oh, it's coin fat."
Coin fat everywhere.
Coin fat all over the oven. That really made us laugh. And then so we sort of like stacked the oven and the fridge
freezer on top of each
to
other.
try and get through the skylight. Finally, fucking climbed up there after all of us slipping all over this coin fat. Like we must have taken like 5 fucking attempts. My guy can hardly climb because he's got a wooden leg.
Oh yeah.
And we were climbing up. This took fucking forever. And then we get up to the top, empty room. Then we burst out the door. We're like, ha! We've made it to the top. We burst out the door, and it was like on the
level that we'd just been on.
yeah. My character literally kicks the door through. It's like, ha! I made it. And we're like,
Shit.
We've been there before.
Literally, we could have just gone out the door, went up the stairs, and we would have been there.
I don't think I pulled off many good attacks, but I was definitely a good tool because I would just punch
roll
over
everywhere.
and people would use me to climb
Oh,
up
yeah,
places.
Yeah.
Literally, there were so many times where you had my peg leg in your back
just stabbing around on my back.
trying to climb up to things. But basically, the whole adventure was it was very reminiscent of like Resident Evil, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of puzzle rooms, a lot of looking around, and very little fighting. And it was really great. But the whole thing was, we ended up finding, to summarise, we ended up finding a hologram of Commissioner Gordon, a hologram of Barbara Gordon, and then a hologram. The last one was actually the Joker, wasn't it?
Yes.
So 3 people that Batman loved. So that was a bit weird that the last one was the Joker. I didn't quite get what that really meant.
It's probably because it's they're like the arch and
Well, without him, he'd have no job, so
I I took it as that he loves his job of crime fighting or something like that. But we found them all, and then we sort of went out, and then they were all holograms. We fought the Joker, we killed him. We were like, we killed the Joker, session 1, brilliant. And then it turns out to be a hologram.
It wasn't just the Joker; it was three of the main baddies.
Oh, that was another one. They were called Blackgate Thugs, and somebody mistook it and thought they said Black Gay Thugs.
Yeah, as soon as Pete said Black Gay, and I was like, "Oh, Black Gay Thugs," and it was like, "Oh, don't say that." So, but then for the rest of the session, that was
we were imagining that they were
BGTs.
Yeah.
and just going, "Oh, I'm gonna hit you,"
And then they run away.
which is a horrible stereotype and bad.
Yep.
So so the hologram disappears, and suddenly all of the locks and the doors sort of open, and we just stroll outside, and we see a silhouetted figure on the Gotham night.
Yeah.
And it's Batman. It turns out that this was all a test, and that he was recruiting us to join him on his crime fighting squad because of our vigilante activities, which was beautiful because we chose to be vigilantes, and it was just this wondrous coincidence that all made sense within his story, and we were just like, everyone at the table was like, it's Batman! One of the coolest things was, remember throughout it, because I had a PDA and it was connected to the internet, and I totally expected Peter just to be like, no, you can't get on the internet.
Right, no, Twitter.
But he totally allowed it, right?
Yeah.
And we were trying to tweet at Gotham City Police Department
to come and help us.
to come and help us while we were trapped. And they were like,
GCPD,
they were like, can't make it. Joker's put a bunch of bombs all around the city. be there in about 4 hours, and we only had 2 hours to escape. And so then we tried to tweet at Nightwing to try and get him to help us.
Yeah, what is it? Batman sucks, lol.
Yeah, we were like, because we were trying to make him jealous to try and get him come here. So it's like, Batman sucks, lol. Anyway, in a bit of a bind at Wayne Manor, can you make it? Smiley face. And then he's like, don't say that about Batman. Fuck you. And then and then we're like,
You're on your own.
So there was one point where you guys were trying to deal with Victor Saz, and then
that was funny as well.
Yeah, so during that time, I created another Twitter account and tried to tweet at Nightwing. I can't remember what happened with that. I don't think I ever got round
You
to
made
it.
your account, but you didn't tweet anything else.
No, I didn't. But yeah, that was pretty funny. So we found out that Batman doesn't have a Twitter account.
No, he doesn't have a
We were
Twitter.
like, so which person in the universe would? And we were like, Nightwing.
Nightwing definitely had one. Yeah,
That was so funny. Man.
it was a hilarious session.
But that was one of the best sessions I've played,
Yeah,
man. That
it was
was
so
was
funny.
fucking brilliant. Okay, so yeah, the other thing we played was DCC. We sort of been playing a little private game of that. So we played session 3. We played an adventure that comes with the actual main rule book called the Abbot of the Woods.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that?
It was awesome. It was a really amazing session.
Yeah, so in this adventure, that was where you had to try to find some wood from the Dryad's tree, and when you went down there, you found this weird abbey in the woods.
Yeah.
And then when you went in there, you were investigating it, and it turned out there was sort of this corruption that was happening in the woods as a result of this bizarre church.
That's right.
And this abbot basically had gone there and tried to make himself invincible by separating all of his body parts and enchanting them,
Oh my god, yeah.
and therefore making his soul invincible.
So cool.
It was really good. I quite liked it. It was fucking deadly though.
It was. There
yeah.
was so many deaths. I mean, there was even a moment where my character, because he was chaotic. He was trying to murder just one of our other players to appease his god. Because my guy, he couldn't do spells for shit because I kept rolling terribly. So then I was getting loads of disapproval.
So much.
And then he just went, you make a sacrifice. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm just going to kill him. And then at the time, there wasn't all the players, there wasn't all of us there. So we had a few people playing other people.
Yeah.
But so it ended up being, I was trying to kill a player that Peter was playing. So it was like most of the game, I was just trying to kill Peter, essentially.
Yeah, and then he was
really
trying to kill you right back.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that neither of you could hit each other.
No.
Throughout the whole dungeon,
Oh my God,
nobody
yeah.
could bloody hit anything. And everyone was rolling straight ones. There was so many fumbles. There was everything was getting fucked. There was a bit in the dungeon where just the air corrodes anything that is organic. So any weapons that had wooden handles,
Gone.
yeah, they were gone.
They were gone,
People
mate.
started aging 10
Yeah,
years
yeah.
for no fucking reason. Like everything was just corroding like crazy.
The thing
And then like nobody was rolling anything well at all
until
until like
Right.
the end.
At
Basically,
the end
what
with Ryan.
happens? Yeah, what happens is the abbey when you go and disturb the final resting place of the abbot, you get to his like torso, and it's not particularly well written in the book, but I think this is what's supposed to happen. The abbot the abbot sort of like comes to life again. And it's like sort of a giant blood golem type thing, right? And nobody could hit him either, right? And nobody was rolling well. Everyone was getting straight ones. Somebody died, so I gave them a bunch of 0 level characters. They like over in the village, they basically saw this giant golem come. So 4 villagers came to the rescue to try and help.
just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and they just had pitchforks and a pair of scissors as weapons and stuff like this. And still nobody could hit, right?
No.
And then Ryan suddenly he says, right, okay, characters are dying. We need something here to help. Okay, and so I'd made him a patron, right? And I'll explain this in a bit. That patron that he had, the Queen of Elfland, isn't from the book. I made that one.
Okay.
Now, what happened is he needed to get a role to go back in time because it was similar to the King of Elfland. He had some similar roles, but it wasn't exactly the same. He needed a role to go back in time, and so he needed to roll a 20.
Yeah.
Now he's like, I'm not going to roll a straight 20. There's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah.
roll on that. So he had to do something called spellburn.
And he burnt loads,
Yeah,
didn't he?
what this
Yeah.
is you have to cut off bits of your body and so or sacrifice blood, things like this. So the way you do that is you sacrifice strength and agility and also luck as well. So you can do that. Some GMs allow luck, some don't. I did, and basically,
he did put almost all his luck.
Yeah, so he spellbound himself to oblivion to do this.
He took like 14 off of himself.
Yeah. So he took something like 16 off. He took like he basically cut a big old load of himself off, sacrificed nearly all of his luck, and then rolled the dice. And he rolled a 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so his spell amount was 36.
Yeah.
And then all of us at the table just went, yes!
Yeah, because this was
amazing.
an amazing thing, because as soon as he got that roll, and then he actually read what he could do.
It's the champion, wasn't it?
No,
Champion.
it was literally Elven Champion, because basically that meant that all of you guys got gifted.
Our weapons were endowed with
armor, power. We got loads. Even the random guys that walked out the woods, they all from the town. They all of a sudden got powered up.
Yeah, no, it was as James was saying. Everyone in the party had your weapons were endowed with the power of the Sylvan Realm. So it meant that we
were all considered champions.
Yes, you were all considered champions. So you had +6 on your weapons, +6 to AC
on the attacks, and on the damage, on our AC.
We just spawned this amazing shiny
so we were all
armor.
glowing, and we had a bunch of level 0 characters that literally just joined at that moment. They were all glowing. But not only this, right? So after all this happened, it was the level 0 characters that wailed on the boss and killed him.
Yeah, because it was their turn next, and all 4 of them with their +6s just hit all 4 in a row and killed it. You see, there's supposed to be a trick to killing that boss. You're supposed to use all the items you get throughout the dungeon, but they didn't even need it, because suddenly they were able to beat its impossible AC, and they just fucking, all of them with pitchforks, pairs of scissors, just went snip, and the fucking thing was just like
just died, fell apart. It was amazing.
But the coolest thing is that it also says that you can anybody that's died within the last hour will succeed on their recover the body checks, and so they'll come back within 1d3 days. So you rolled, and everyone came back within 3 days.
Yep.
So all of the characters came back, and like you guys went back to the town in 3 days. A little portal opened up, and it was just like, and then everyone just pops out this portal.
I just how this whole campaign like revolved around the welfare of the hags. It was like the hags, all right. We've only got 3 left in the village. We've got to protect them and all stuff like that.
Yeah, because the village just kept on slowly going into disrepair, because the village population was getting so low by this point, because every time characters would die, more level 0s would come in, and those would be population for the village. And I was keeping track of it. So it was ridiculous. By the time you'd finish that quest, there was this point where the village people, all the guys from the village were sort of like, well, you know, this is getting silly. So essentially, you guys then had to go off on a little quest to go and find the other half of the rulership rod. That was why you were doing what you were doing, right? And that was sort of your quest. And they basically said, all the village guys sort of said to you, well, you know, when you were off in the woods just now, another one of the hags died because you guys were adventuring and you're the only guys that are protecting us. So if you're going to go off on a quest, we're coming with you, because we're not going to continue getting butt fucked. And they're like, look around you, and you sort of look at your town, which is called Shitterton. They're like, look around you, this is horrible. I hate it here. And so
even Ian had enough from the store.
Yeah, and so you guys all went. The entire village, which is like about 12 people, went to the Ptolemaic Islands to go and find the other half of this item that you were trying to find. And basically the quest. I'll try and summarise it, because
this is now session 4 that we moved on to. Yeah,
and this is now session 4, and it was kind of like an exploratory quest. Now this is called Moon Slaves of the Cannibal Kingdom. And it was good. It was very, very good. But the only trouble is that it starts off with a guy riding a dinosaur coming to see you, right?
A reptilian person riding a dinosaur.
No, it's not. It's a gold person.
Oh, golden guy, yeah.
Golden guy on the dino.
Yeah,
nice.
So he comes up to you, and he basically is like, you sort of land on this island, you come off your boat, and this is where they knew the item to be. They didn't know where on the island, they just knew it was there. And this guy comes up to you riding a dinosaur, and he's not attacking you, but he just sort of like is like, I don't know about these guys. He doesn't trust you because you're white, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, if you are, in fact, white. And most of them were, except for one. And he basically doesn't trust you. And then these guys kind of fucked the ball and really screwed it up, and then started fighting the village, and they were the only lead that they had as to where anything on this island was.
Yeah, but how many were there?
30. They fought 30 guys, which you don't do that in DCC. To save your character, Nick, who got captured. They were like, dinner, and they just captured you, and they tried to save you, and even after 2 guys died, they were still trying to save your one character.
And we only managed to beat 5 of their players. 5 of their people attacking us.
Yeah, and then they lost 3 in the process, and I was trying to give every hint I could. I was like, okay, there's 25 left. Do you still want to fight the 25 guys?
We're like, yeah. And then, but eventually we, decided she probably run away now.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, so there's this, you hear this noise coming off from the east, and I was like, and there's a monkey, right? You know the giant monkey from the cover?
Yeah.
The monkey is nice. It actually wants to be your friend.
Dr. Johnson.
Yeah, it actually, So that's a deep cut for listeners of this show.
Sorry, guys.
But so it actually wants to be your friend, and if you at first it kind of is like, I don't know if I trust these outsiders, but if you get to know it, it sort of wants to come with you and escape.
Yeah, but what we did, right? We heard the noise and went, we probably shouldn't go that way.
Get your swords out.
So literally, the first probably hour and a half of this game was these guys
getting killed,
and then going nowhere around the jungle.
Yeah, because then after
they heard the sound, they was like, no, other way.
Yeah, so they ignored every plot hook.
And also, so after all these deaths, we had a couple of people playing some of the level 0 characters after that.
Yeah, so a bunch of guys basically.
Ian, tell me someone played Ian.
No, Ian. It wasn't Ian, but from the weapon shop. But no, what happened was that after some guys died, I had the guy come off the boat, the captain Osmandus.
Oh yeah.
Like basically catch these guys up and go, your villagers are really annoying me. So here, have 4 of them.
Yeah,
got me off my boat.
So I started playing the 4 of the level 0s, and then eventually had to dish out a couple more to, like, I think every other player.
Well, the most notable one is Ori. Remember that, because Ori was an absolute there's no nice way of saying it. He was a mong.
He was a mong.
He was a proper. He was proper. Right. Hello. He was the village idiot. Yeah. Right. And he was a proper reject. And what happened is that he was like the comic relief of the party.
He was.
And it was really funny because the eventual thing ended where they found basically the leader of the island and found that they worship magical items.
Okay.
And she wore the copper rod of rulership half round her neck.
Ah, yeah.
And she said that they can try to fight her in a fight that they won't win, or they can do the ancient ritualistic thing that this island does where they play Russian roulette.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Right? But they do Russian roulette, and they worship their god is the deck of many things. And what they do is they sit down, and she says that she's never lost. The deck always picks her, and if you get the right card, it will say you lead the island, and you will lead the island, and you'll become the leader, and it always picks her. That's why she does it.
Okay.
So any strangers that come and challenge her, all you do is you sit down. You go round the table and you pick a card, and that it chooses the fate. It's their god, and they worship it. So they all accepted the fucking challenge, sat down, and did a deck of many things. It was fucking
wicked.
I just thought, because it's end of a campaign.
Yeah.
So Peter's character got 2 wishes, right? And he wished for the rod of rulership and wished that she would go away, right? And that's what happened. And so she instead of like doing it magically, she just got up and went, okay then, fair enough.
And just walked off.
And then just gave him the rod and walked away. And that was it. And she was just like, okay, fair enough. And then Sean's character got, during this though, that was like the last thing that happened, but Sean's character got one where he had to fight a phantasm elsewhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they completed the rod, and the guy that had tasked them to get the rod was this goat lord, right? So then after that point, they had the deck of many things.
Nice.
So they went out, and the goat lord came down. So Ori, who was being played by James, just started pulling cards from the deck randomly, right? So he immediately becomes a level 10 warrior.
Did you get any more intelligent though?
No. So yeah, and he's like really powerful, and they're about to fight the Goat Lord, right? So then Peter as well, he walks up to James's character, pulls a card out of James's pocket, and gets 1d4 wishes. And the things that he wishes for is that the
He wishes it never happened.
that the Goat Lord would go away.
Yeah.
Oh, not him at all.
Goat Lord would go away because the goat head wanted the rod, and we knew like basically the rod meant you were like the ruler of the island, etc. So yeah, Pete wished for the goat head to just disappear, which he did.
And then he wished that it would all be over. He wished to be the leader of the island.
Yeah.
And then he wished. What was the last thing? I can't remember what the last
They
thing
made
was.
Shitterton the island?
No,
No,
it's
he
not.
just said we wish this never happened. And
Yeah.
that was like the main one. I don't think. I'm not sure if he completed all 4 wishes because it just went back.
Yeah, and that was it. So basically, all time sort of rewound at that point, and it all went back to day one, where you guys right before the adventure, where Old Man Rivers was talking to a bunch of level 0 villagers trying to get them to do a quest
Because he wanted some cash.
because he wanted some cash, and obviously everyone went back and still had all their memories. So the funny thing is that you guys all remembered that he was bullshitting you and that he wasn't really ill when he was trying to get you to go on that mission.
Oh, he's dying.
So he was like, I feel so... wait, so you guys remember? And everyone's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, never mind. Let's go on the adventure then.
I'll come then.
Yeah, so it was a pretty good way to end it, I think. And I really, really liked the old deck of many things. It was good. It was really good fun.
DCC in general. So many people with it now.
Yeah, we managed to get quite a few people in on DCC, didn't we?
myself.
Oh yeah, in actual fact, one thing that we forgot to mention
In the feedback, well, it doesn't matter. We'll mention it now. We actually mentioned to get. We actually managed to get quite a few people, 6 listeners, to buy DCC.
that includes Nick.
Yeah.
but
Well, you do listen
exactly.
at the time when it's happening.
So
And
since episode 29, there's an extra 6 sold.
Well
Yeah.
done,
Everyone.
you dungeon crawlers.
Yeah, well done, guys. So yeah, we're absolutely loving this game at the moment.
So good.
Of course we are, and that's why we're doing actual plays on it.
So two little products that I bought these are DCC type products. Well, one of them is. I've got a Dungeon Alphabet.
Oh.
So this is pretty cool. I picked it up for it says great price $9.99.
Great price.
So that's how much I got it for in pounds, but that's actually supposed to be for dollars. So this is by Michael Curtis, who is a DCC writer. I think this came out before DCC or maybe at the beginning. So it's an A to Z of things for dungeons, right? So for example, it starts up with forward, which actually isn't A, but right. So A is for altars. So you've got a D20 roll, and on there is loads of different altars. B is for books, and then you've got C is for caves. D10 roll, random unique caves and caverns. So for example, if you roll a 6, this cave is a natural echo chamber. 9. This cave bears strange formation that resemble real objects and decorations.
Cool.
Let's go for another random one. O is for oozes.
Oozes. You've got to love them oozes.
And if you do a D10 roll, 9. The ooze dwells inside a reservoir normally set aside for potable water.
So it's a nifty little toolbox.
Yeah, it's brilliant. P is for pools. Yeah, it's just the A to
Very
Z
nice.
of cool little dungeon shit to
I like
put
that.
into dungeons.
That's awesome.
And in addition to that, Tales from
Oh
Dalup.
man, it came.
Tales from Dalup.
Ah.
Tales from Dalup.
Get mine. Dalup.
So this is a RPG that will be good for Stranger Things fans.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fans of Earthbound and the Mother
Goonies.
series, the Goonies. And this was inspired by an artwork book. Did you know that?
No,
Is it?
And it was a stretch goal with a Kickstarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's actually called Tales from the Loop, the original
Yeah,
artwork
so
book.
nice.
So if you can track that down, the artwork book, it's really, really cool actually. So
It's like photorealistic rather than
Yes.
their other stuff, which is more cartoony. This is
yeah,
weird.
it's beautiful, the art book.
Wow.
So this book is very, very good. It's if I recall correctly, Nick, you know a bit more about this than I do.
Yep.
But it's about a research facility in America and
Or Sweden, wherever you want to play it.
yes, and the some of the little experiments they're doing and shit escapes, and the kids find out about it, but the adults and the police won't believe them, so it's up to them to sort it out.
Yeah, they live in the town, and I think it's like a science town. Everyone that's in the town works in it. It's almost like CERN, if you like.
Yes. So I
and
mean,
it's one of them things.
for fans of like we said, Stranger Things,
Yeah.
Steins Gate, Earthbound, The
Starts
Goonies,
teleporting shit
things
from
like
other
that.
dimensions.
We'll absolutely love this. And the archetypes that you can play are things like rocker, nerd, Poindexter, like whatever, things like that.
I like the
so
orange and red they've used in it.
It's
really,
a
really cool.
utterly beautiful book.
Yeah, it
and
really is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. I think you guys would absolutely love it.
So
I think
decent.
you'd enjoy playing something like that, wouldn't you, James?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be wicked.
You
fun.
could. It'd be so fun because you obviously set it in the 80s. We're all, 80s kids. It'd be an absolute nostalgic roller coaster if you could start like throwing some 80s references in there.
Hell yeah.
A lot of fun.
The only thing is, I seem to recall Matt Stark, who's a listener of this show. I don't know much about the system yet. See, I thought it was the same system as Mutant Year Zero, but I don't think it is because he mentioned something along the lines that it's player facing, which I believe means that the DM doesn't roll.
That's right, yeah.
Now, I know, I used to be of the opinion that that's like, don't do that, grognard. But I've since played Monster of the Week, and in that the DM doesn't roll, and it can work really well.
Okay.
It just requires a lot of intuition, and is really, really good if done right. So I think that'll be really good to play.
So, yeah, especially with anything that's new, something different.
So yeah, it's
system.
banging. And Nick,
Really cool.
you got something as well, didn't you?
Yes, a Kickstarter came through.
Kickstarter.
Oh no, I got a bit of a cough. Sorry. Yes, I got a Kickstarter delivered. I've only got 2 left that I'm waiting on now. No, actually 3. Sorry, tell a lie. This is a Call of Cthulhu adventure called Cold Warning. It's from Golden Goblin Press, and it's basically quite a well-renowned Call of Cthulhu writer. Wrote this in the 90s, wrote a manuscript for it, and then it got lost. So I'll just read a little thing for it. Cold Warning by Scott David Anawoski is a newly discovered lost manuscript originally written in the early 1990s for a never-produced Chaosium project entitled American Gothic. With intense rewrites by the original author, and after 25 years of laying forgotten in a file, Cold Warning is presented here for the very first time. So it's an old game that actually got forgotten about. They brought it back. They've brought it out, and it looks brilliant.
It's such a cool idea to do that. I think it'd be cool if more things did that.
Definitely.
And I believe it has a it's sort of a Native American vibe to it.
Looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it's set in the snow.
So for fans of what's that game? Until Dawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly that. So it looks really, really cool. It only came this week, so I'm gonna have a little read. But I'll put a picture of it on G+. Check it out.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we'll get on to the main subject. Let's talk about the Blackwood.
Should we quick breakage?
Main. Subject. Main. Subject. Sorry.
For nearly 1,500 years, the Elder King reigned over his kingdom with wisdom, compassion, and justice. Alas, he has disappeared 14 years ago, and the Elder Kingdom is in disarray. The nobility grow corrupt and forget their duties to the common folk. Outlaws and pagans prowl at the borders of the kingdom, and in the wildest depths of the Blackwood, the strange and dangerous spirits known as elves emerge from their hidden realm once more. So, we're talking about the Blackwood.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucker.
So, this is a fantasy setting for Savage Worlds, and it's, well, the reason we're talking about it is because the print versions came out recently, and mine came in the post.
I'm waiting for mine yet.
Do you know why mine came in the post?
Go on.
Because I bloody ordered it.
Oh, right.
Well, because Nick, obviously there was some confusion with yours, wasn't there? Because he basically you get sent out codes,
Yeah.
right? And I think you can order different ones. So you could either order like the the hardback or the softback with a map or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone else that I know who kickstarted it was like immediately got their code, and Nick was like, "Where the fuck is mine?"
He's like, check your emails, mate.
I was like, oh yeah, shit. So I got to go and check my email and find my code. But yeah.
So, this is a fantasy setting, and the way that Eli Kurtz describes it is Brothers Grimm meets fantasy meets wuxia. So, for those that don't know Brothers Grimm, this is kind of like dark fairy tales.
Yep.
And for those that don't know wuxia, that's sort of... wuxia is a Chinese form of storytelling that is originally literature that basically means martial heroes. Right? Now, this is... Most people will know this from things such as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hero, the One-Armed Swordsman, or in video games things like Jade Empire, which is a BioWare game, or Bujingai. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean realistic martial arts things, because often these films and stuff, they contain things like what is quite badly known as wire fu, but like that sort of wire acrobatics and things like this, or in the case of a lot of the literature and stuff like this, it will contain things like key powers and things like that. And then obviously the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, they're often sort of really dark shit to teach kids lessons and stuff like that. So it's really, really cool. And crossing those things obviously is a great fucking concept. So before we carry on with this review, obviously you guys read a bit, but we're gonna go through the book and sort of like have a look at what's inside, innit, bruv?
Yeah, boy.
And the full disclosure, Eli, who wrote this book, is our friend.
Yep.
But we are going to be completely honest about it.
Yeah.
So
No bias.
yeah, exactly.
Impartiality is key.
Exactly. And Eli is our friend, but we will kill him if necessary.
Just tell us, guys. Just tell us.
Just
you need him dead.
you give the order, you pay the money. We'll kill anyone.
Sell swords.
Disclaimer: we will not do that.
Yeah, sorry. So we saw the joke.
So first of all, guys, what do you think of the cover?
I love it. I like the cover. I like the cool oval shape. I like how sort of simplistic it is.
It's quite classy, isn't it?
Well, I think the title does all the talking.
The
You look at that
title-
art for the B for Blackwood. You don't need much
yeah.
more, do you? I mean, it's cracking.
Yeah, I think it's quite it's pure class. I think one of the things is the first time I saw it, I did think it doesn't really tell you what's inside. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, it kind of does in a way, because one of the things that you notice about this the whole setting is that it's quite a like a classy setting, isn't it? Like you've obviously noticed with like the writing, he obviously goes for like a it's a bit more highbrow, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this cover, it's like, okay, first off, you're like, well, it doesn't necessarily invoke the fact that it's darker or the fact that it's got martial arts in there, but it does invoke the fact that you're kind of like, you're in for a bit more of a highbrow product. This isn't for you. It's not for the children. Do you know what I mean? It's not. But another way you could invoke that it's not for the kids, put a big wang on there. So
Maybe that's something missing from the cover.
so
Need more wang.
yeah, edition 2, right?
Yeah.
Just have just a little one.
Just a little one, just somewhere.
Just like for the art, for the dot of the eye.
Yeah, like
wang.
because this is it's like a snapshot of the map, right? So just put one on there, like coming out of a mountain.
But respectfully done.
Yeah, like a really nice, like a classy wang,
really classy
like
wang.
like a crown on it.
No veins.
King Wang. Okay.
So the book starts up with a poem called "The Ballad of the Way's Margin," and so the first little few lines, it says, "Beyond the village there stands a tall hedge to keep the Blackwood at bay, kept safe from danger from pagans and elves, if only we follow the way." And basically, after each quatrain or each 4 lines, it then explains the history behind those 4 lines and their cultural significance. Now, this is the kind of stuff that I really like in fantasy, because essentially, if you have poems and songs and stuff like that, like obviously this is like a tradition that's been done ever since like Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and good stuff like The Name of the Wind and stuff like that. They will always have these kind of things in, and I feel like it tends to build up a world a lot, and a lot of fantasy RPGs don't do that, and I don't know why. And I was just like, immediately, I was just like, yeah, bruv.
Yeah, I lapped up the first few pages because
I was just
loved it.
Done a good job there.
Yeah,
I was just like, this is going to be my kind of thing, innit?
paints a good picture. Yeah, it's really
You
cool.
turned into gangster.
Yeah.
like this Blackwood.
Oh, this is
Blackwood blood. Oh my god, it's Vulgar blood. It's got a poem blood. I'm so hot. Yeah, blood. Oh my god, blood.
So the poem basically details, gives you like a brief history on the world, and essentially in this world, the wilderness is full of really bad shit. The worst of all being the elves and the pagans that worship them. So the elves in this game are not typical elves. Like everyone thinks of elves, they think of Legolas and Drizzt, right? And
Oh no.
No.
These dudes mean.
They're way worse, and there's like a whole ecology of different elves in this game, and we're going to get into those later, and we're going to talk about them later because they are fucking awesome in this game. But we'll go into the history a little bit now. So basically, there was this guy called the Elder King, right, who started raising hedges around his cities to keep the wilderness at bay and training all of his citizens in certain practices. And this sort of practice was hereafter referred to as the Elder King's Way. Now, obviously, the king wasn't stupid, so he wrote all the way down in some tomes called the 5 Classics of Law and Reason.
Classic, mate.
These are 5 classics.
That's a king's classic, bruv.
Now, the trouble with the Elder King's Way is that although it was perfect, it wasn't like ever-reaching. So there was a limit to its influence, and it could only go so far. So the outer reaches of this, where the light ended and the darkness started back up, became known as the Way's Margin. And it was up to regular people who displayed amazing courage, intelligence, or strength to swear upon a badge, usually an item of great sentimental value, and become travelling adventurers in the name of the king and seek out faults at the Way's Margin. The trouble is, of course, that went to shit a bit when the king decided to take all his family and fuck off for no reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well done. Cheers, King.
Nice one, Kingy.
Yeah, it's basically quite clear that the regular folk of the Blackwood aren't exactly clever because in what became known simply as the bad year, the king buggered off.
That was a bad year.
So, like, now everything's fucked. Less people are practicing the way. The hedges are in disrepair. They're all, like, limp. And now more elves are reclaiming the woods. And nasty shit is getting into the cities.
And the rich people are taking a piss.
Exactly. And now you can't even go berry picking without getting mugged and jugged by a gang of filthy pagans.
For God's sake.
Damn it!
Enter the Wildlanders. So, when everything started to go to shit, a bunch of black guys from the Borderlands came in to help, offering aid and divine help and whatnot. Those guys are called the Wildlanders. It then talks about how magic works in the Blackwood, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But basically, that's the backstory in a nutshell. And I know what you're thinking. Get to the kung fu and the wuxia. And we are going to do that, because next we're getting into characters in the Blackwood. But before that, however, there's a really cool introductory choose-your-own-adventure thing called the Elven Cool. And it gives you a really good feel for the setting, and I won't spoil it because it's actually really awesome.
Yeah.
So basically, in this thing you get like 3 bennies, and it's just a really cool, like, go to section 20. Oh no, you get eaten by a ghoul.
Yeah.
It's a really, really cool thing,
wicked,
actually.
yeah.
I think more books should do this, because you essentially have this, like, just choose your own adventure, and it's like
Gets you a feel for the game straight away, doesn't
exactly.
it?
And as a player, because I feel like most people wouldn't. Like, most players wouldn't sit down and read the book beforehand.
I was going to say,
cheating.
it's a really good idea for newbies as well, because imagine if you've just bought this and you're really excited to play it, and you want to, say, get other people into RPGs and that. It's a really good way to do it. You can just be like, right, let's meet up for half hour, see if you're up for this, and be like, look, we're going to do this, and we're going to run through a choose your own adventure thing, and this is the kind of stuff you can expect, and kind of stuff that you're going to encounter and what's going to happen.
Gives you a
and then you
snapshot
can
of
be
the
like,
rules.
I tell you what, that's really good. Or nah, it's not my cup of tea. So it's like it's definitely a really, really good thing, and I'm really happy that Eli's put it in here.
I think it gives you a flavour for how you're sort of supposed to get into the world as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you might get a character get into it, it's like not into the flavour. You know, he's not digging the vibe.
Yeah.
And I think this really gives that sort of flavour and can get any character, any player into it.
Especially if you're an elven fanboy.
Yeah, exactly. If you really love an elf, and then you get into this, and you're like, you as soon as you go into the woods, you're like, oh, sweet, an elf, I'm going to give him a hug, and you're like, no.
He died.
Right, so this is Savage Worlds, so obviously it works really similarly to that, but with a few differences. So I'll just go through the character creation. So first off, you pick a culture. The only playable race in Blackwood is humans, so there are just different cultures. They're basically functionally exactly the same as races in normal RPGs. They give you a few bonuses and a few differences, that kind of thing. But they are just humans. So they're like races in our world, kind of thing.
Cool.
So the first is Elder Folk. They are stout, hardy people. They always stayed truest to the teachings of their Elder King, and they live in mountain valleys, in and near where the Elder King originally lived. Now, I couldn't really discern in the book whether or not this meant they lived in cities or not. But I think they
so.
do.
Yeah, I think so. I kind of what I got from the book was that they're the kind of what's it? The noble lot. So
That's what I thought as well.
Poshos that live in the town.
I was trying to figure it out, and I think that was the case,
lords
wasn't
and
it? Yeah,
stuff or
and
whatever.
by the picture, you see them sort of wearing robes, standing up straight as Nick is miming now, and holding a book. So
and they're still well into the king's way.
yes, exactly. There are a few that deviated, it did say, but not like as many as perhaps the other races. Mm-hmm. And the next is the elf marked. So sometimes, right? Sometimes somebody ventures into the woods, right, and they see an elf.
Get a little bit.
And instead of the elf doing like a bad thing to them,
Bonds them up.
bongs them up, has sex with them.
Sometimes bond.
All right, sexual intercourse. That's what we're getting at. And then a normal human baby is born. However, that elven badness stays in the blood forever.
Yeah.
And sometimes a descendant will be born with deformities.
Oh dear.
And what we're talking about is like a tree growing out the head, a goat leg, like a bark-like skin.
Fucking weed growing out their ears.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
shit like this.
Yeah.
So that is what an elf marked is, and that is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Really
like the
cool.
fact it's
The art in the book made me giggle because I think they've almost got like grass mutton chops.
Yeah, and and there's a guy with trees coming out of his ears.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool. The next up is river folk. They've got blonde or red hair, live near rivers, and are really sexy.
And they don't shut up.
Yeah.
These guys.
Yes,
They don't
yeah.
shut up because they're the guys. So basically, they're always. So all the traders that come in down the river and that, they will always bump into the river guys. And they love a chat.
I like it because it really reminds me of country folk from this country.
Right?
Yeah. They're like, all right, I ain't seen a black bloke before. If you're coming from a village and you're anyone that's an outsider, if you're maybe a person of colour, maybe you've got a different haircut that they've never seen. If you're wearing jeans, or whatever, it could be anything. They'll just be like, oh,
Oh,
right,
your teeth are straight.
got a beard, have you?
Ain't seen one of them before.
yeah. They'll just chat to you incessantly, and that's what the river folk.
I
are
like these guys.
Yeah, the artwork shows the riverman taking his top off and holding a sword, presumably for like some sort of naked fight.
Naked fight.
No, I'm kidding. In the text, it says they like to wear loose clothing because they're always up for an impromptu swim.
They like to slip it off and go for a swim.
Yeah, but it didn't say anything about doing it with a glowing sword, so I don't know why he's taking his clothes off with a sword.
Maybe it's. No, never mind.
Leave that
Maybe
there.
he's going sword fishing.
That sounds even worse.
Yeah, I don't know. Lastly, you've got the Widelanders, and these are the dark-skinned people that came to the aid of everyone else when the king buggered off. We've mentioned those before. They are foreign, so they start the game with a penalty to all local knowledge checks.
These dudes, these dudes practice the unifying religion.
Yes, so they're really pious, and they basically love to preach
And it's
religion.
the one god. They believe one. They worship the one god that kind of ruled all the other gods.
Yes, basically, and they seem pretty cool because they can get magic from that god as well,
Absolutely,
which we're going to get into in a bit. So,
And there's one left.
is there?
Woodkin.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I put lastly, but yeah, the last one is the Woodkin. They're woodland folk, and they live in isolated villages or towns, and they have names like Bernst or Bontrum or Flimptrunt. That was my notes because I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, they're wicked.
But they are like they're like sort of like hardy lumberjack type folk.
Exactly,
aren't they?
they're quite pale because they spend most of their time under the canopy of the forests and stuff. They're very very good with their hands, like exactly lumberjacks, and they're the main forest dudes.
Yeah, I think the races are really really decent.
Yeah.
Although there is one sort of, in my opinion, glaring omission that I'd like to talk about later.
Okay.
And I think it's something we've all noticed.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it a bit later. Once you've picked a race, you determine your starting language, starting languages, and then your calling. So this is sort of why you've been chosen to answer the call of errantry. So why you've been picked to adventure and go to the ways margin and sort out all the bad shit. So, basically at this point, you just have to create the rest of your character. That's basically what that means.
Yeah.
However, in the book, it gives you a ton of pre-made callings. So, it's essentially pre-made characters if you're in a hurry. things like clever storyteller, diligent guard, village herbalist, aka bong lord.
I'm the bomb lord.
I'm the village herbalist.
Yeah, blood. Oh my god, blood.
So one of the things that struck me as a little bit odd is it gives you a bunch of archetypes, and these are supposed to be the reason that you were called to errantry to go and stop the
Badness.
the badness, right?
Yeah.
Now, the examples I gave are straight from the book. You know, clever storyteller, village herbalist. That they make sense, right? Because you can make potions. You know, weaving the stories. That's going to be important to tell people when you get back.
Yeah.
Right? Makes sense. But then you've got things like impetuous child, pagan witch. I thought the pagans were evil, especially a witch. I mean, okay, if you're a pagan witch that turned to the good side, fair enough. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't. I mean, maybe some explanation there would have been handy. But like brazen pagan.
So he don't care.
Yeah, he's just
he
like,
don't give a damn.
yeah. Why would he be called
For badness?
Yeah, but no. I mean, why would he be? Why, okay, so like the
That's what I mean,
caller.
he might be a chaotic character that's out to cause shit.
Yeah, but why would then he be called to
errant?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, if you were a clever role player and you had your reasons, maybe he's put up a front and
To guys, yeah, he's pretending to be a good guy, but really he's actually planting evil.
exactly. But it doesn't. Maybe that should have maybe a little explanation or something like that would have gone a long way here. But it's just like. So you've been the way it's presented in the book is like, now pick your calling. You are a brazen pagan. You have been selected.
Walks around like licking Antichrist signs and stuff.
Yeah, and he's just like he's just
He's
like
just a metaler, isn't he?
yeah.
He's got long black hair.
Time to save fuck all.
Wicked.
Right, so during character creation, obviously, you can pick new edges and hindrances specific to the Blackwood. For example, new hindrances include bumpkin.
Yeah.
This character is considered crude and unsophisticated by urban standards.
That's all of us.
And yeah, exactly. Next up
Human
is
standards, though.
just by any standards.
Yeah.
Also, enchanted. You goofed around with an elf and or a witch, and now you turn into an animal uncontrollably at inopportune moments.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's me.
Yeah,
That's
I was
me.
gonna
I'll
say,
take
yeah,
ignorance
yeah,
all day long.
I'd love it if you just turned into a fish or
Duck.
whatever.
Oh, dear. Just a fish flapping around.
Village idiot, that one's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Nice.
New edges include distracting technique, so you get a +2 to smarts tricks, and your opponent gets a -3 to parry instead of -2. So basically, you're very good at distracting during combat, which is fucking cool. And actually, if you're playing a character that's not necessarily that good at fighting, that might be a good one. If you're, if you're, example, the clever storyteller, that would be a good one to have.
Yeah.
Because maybe you're just during combat you can be good at making noises or chucking dirt into people's
While
eyes.
your mates come in on the ambush or something, yeah.
Yeah. There's also celebrant, where you belong to a religion and you get a +2 to charisma bonuses when dealing with other zealots. I mean followers. And so that means like when you get to towns, you can sort of get onto your soapbox and start preaching. There's really good professional edges, such as storyteller, where under certain circumstances, which are too long to explain, you can add details to the game world with the GM's permission. It does specifically say...
You've got to sit down and have a chat about that.
Yeah, because otherwise it can get out of hand.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's really good.
I quite like that. So the player can basically, they just feel like, oh, can this happen? Is that cool?
Yeah,
I
so-
think out of game, you sit with your GM and you kind of work out what kind of influence you want to have on this world in whatever you're kind of doing.
Yeah,
you have to work it out.
I don't think you can take the piss. Because,
No.
I mean, it would be really cool if you could just roll and be like, I think that the exact ingredient we need was once cultivated by a famous farmer exactly over this ridge. and like...
We
it's
win.
kind of like that, but maybe a little bit less shit.
Yeah.
And you have to okay it with the GM so it makes
I
sense.
tell you what, I quite like that because, again, like bringing it back to if you were new to it, if someone, you could suggest when they're doing a character creation, okay, how about take this? And at certain moments,
Gives them a bit of investment.
You can then tell me, maybe we can discuss how we want things to go for this section. And then it just means that that person who's completely new to it may enjoy it more because they've actually contributed to the story that they're playing, rather than playing out a story that's been created by just the GM.
Exactly. I mean, not only to the story, but to the world as well. I think it's spectacular.
Yeah, it's
that
really cool.
that is really cool.
That's a good smart one.
Bit different. I mean,
Very,
some people might not like that, but I think
do.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you use it wisely.
For this setting, I think it works. I think it really works. There's combat edges, of course, too, and racial edges. The best one being Tree Friend. Plants flex and bend to aid this character's passage.
Sorry, the word flex, I just imagine it's like
same
a sunflower that just had like beefy bicep going.
As you walk past, they're like point in the direction with all their muscly hats.
You know what? It's the exact same thing I imagine too, and I think it all shows that we're extremely immature. So,
Yeah.
all the plants are like.
Macho man, Randy, sunflower, yeah.
What it means basically is that for difficult terrain, when you're in really thick woodland, you don't suffer any penalties, so you can just walk through and everything just sort of goes and opens up.
Moses of the Green.
Really cool.
Again, that's right up next street.
Yep.
Yeah, man. There's a weird edge called Leaf Step. So when you use the run action, you gain Wall Walker, but the sort of situation this is meant to be used in, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about here.
ya.
So when they're fighting on the very thin branches and they're standing on it, that's Leaf Step.
Wicked.
Next, let's talk about the magical backgrounds in this setting. So there's a number of ways you can gain magic in the Blackwood. First of all, you can gain spells by ancestor worship.
Yep.
This is where you call on the dead to grant you powers, and you need to come in contact with a new spirit to get new powers. So every time you want a new spell, you have to come in contact with a new spirit.
Cool.
And there, I think, if I
So that
recall...
means you have to do the prayer and meet someone rather than just be like, oh, this guy again.
Exactly, and if I recall correctly, it's like sort of there's these standing stones that you find out in the forest, which are sort of memorials to like long dead ancestors and things like this. And if you find them, you can sort of contact them.
Yeah, I really like the whole ancestry thing. It's like you've got to keep a bond with your ancestors of this village, and they can even make you like the crops grow better. And
I think it's quite good as well because I'd say it kind of puts more of a reason. It makes the player, whoever's playing that, because they have to do this to play more true to the character and think more about the actual role-playing aspect of it, rather than when people try and break the game and all that, they'll just be like, no.
And we've spoken about this in DCC as well. You don't just get magic spells for no fucking reason. Oh, I've leveled up. I get a new spell out of nowhere. No,
work for it.
Yeah, you have to work for it, and that makes sense. I like that. The next is Elven Pact, where you bind yourself to an elf.
That bad.
In exchange for power and protection. For each new power, you have to make a new pact with a new elf and carry a new totem.
Oh my god.
So if you have 5 spells, you got a bag of totems on you, mate.
And you got a lot of elves going, hey, Cuddy,
I need you to repay me now.
Again, that's quite good. So does that say that the totem has to be with you? So you could make a pact with, like, say, 400, but then you can only, you can only carry, obviously, if you do long enough campaign to get to that level, but then you can only carry, 10 maximum. So, but then you have to have them all in your backpack. And all that. So
you wouldn't get far.
I mean, the more pacts you have, the more of a fucked bloke you are.
Yeah,
I mean,
and mess you up.
Yeah,
mate.
and or if they've called in all those favors, you could have. I don't know what the pact could be. I mean, it depends on the GM, but your life could be completely turned upside down, or your body, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Then of course you've got herbalism, where you can make potions, balms, and powders. That's pretty self-explanatory. But the rules for brewing the potions are in here too, which are cool and can end up getting you injured for 24 hours if you fuck it up. And
that's really good.
As we mentioned before, there's Unified Faith, where you get your powers from Oraniel and carry a holy symbol, usually a bell or a pendant. They all begin with an extra spell called Oraniel's Light / Osundo's Slumber, and it's basically functionally the same as the light / obscure spell from the Savage Worlds core rules.
Cool.
The last one is Clockwork, which is basically weird science. So essentially, it's not really magic, but you can use inventions to do the same shit as magic, kind of thing. Supposedly, the Elder Kingdom has a wealth of advanced technology, and that was something that the Elder King included in the 5 Classics books, right? So he essentially wrote in there, here's how to invent a toaster. I'm off for 14 years. Bye-bye. Okay, so next up we'll talk about the gear. The gear is actually full of really cool new shit. Mm-hmm. So here's a few examples. First off, you've got the antler knife.
Nice.
It's a pagan weapon, and it's sometimes made from actual antlers, but is more often than not 2 overlapping blades.
Cool.
You've got dream bark tea, which makes you hallucinate. Drink this, and you'll be more susceptible to persuasion.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, maybe a lot of people in the Blackwood know what it tastes like and smells like, but slip it into some regular tea, half dream bark, half regular, and then you go, are you sure you didn't want to give me that discount on the antler knife?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You know what, thinking about it, this is some delicious tea, and yes, I did want to give you that.
Sold.
You've got lacquered leaf armour. It's scale mail made from leaves that have been lacquered, so it's light and provides protection. Okay, so now we're onto the section about the fighting styles in Blackwood. We're onto the wuxia, the martial arts.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
How many fighting styles are there?
9. And each one basically embodies a different philosophy. So you've got formlessness of a river, resilience of wood, and the mysticism of the celestial sphere. So when you fight against a philosophy that rivals yours, you get a +1 on attacks against your opponent. So there's 3, so it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors thing. So the way it works is at a novice rank, so when you've made a brand new baby character, you can pick the aspiring student edge and join a fighting school. And pick an aspiring technique from one of the common fighting schools. So what this means is there are common schools and hidden schools. So basically, because you're a babby, you can only pick a common one.
Yeah.
And you can pick from a newbie school. So for example, the common school Falcon School will allow you to join if you're both good at shooting and smart enough and an aspiring student. So you have the aspiring student edge.
They're the range attack dudes, aren't they?
Exactly. So, and when you do, you'll be given the technique Fleeting Worry, Hidden Calm, which gives you flight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fleeting worry, hidden calm.
Yeah, and this gives you flight as long as you end your movement on solid ground. So that's essentially like the... Again, we'll go back to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon example, you know, where they seem to have somewhat flight, but it's mainly just for short amounts of time.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you might choose the Josudo school, and as an aspiring student, that will give you a +1 to gang up bonuses because this school believes in teamwork. Now, let's say you want to join a hidden school, so these are the more secretive ones.
Oh yeah, there's 2 in there.
I think there might be 3.
There's the dragon one, the
gourd
one, and then there's a fire one.
Yes, the fire cat, I think it's called.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are... first of all, you need to get your character to seasoned, then pick the worthy student edge on top of the aspiring student edge you already have.
I like the fact that they stack.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then, assuming you have the right stats for the hidden school, you can join. So, for example, the way of the Firecat, you need a spirit of D8, strength of D8, and improved frenzy, as well as worthy student in another school.
Wow.
Nice.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And
a lot of prerequisites.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's good.
But
In a good way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But for this, you get the Hidden Ember attack, which means you roll your spirit die for a bonus attack on a raise.
Nice.
And then if you become a master, which you can do once you become heroic rank, you can then unlock the master skill in your hidden school. For example, Way of the Firecat, once again, has the Burning Spirit stance, and it means you can make a free attack against anyone who moves adjacent to you in combat.
Wicked.
If you combine that with the martial artist or improved martial artist edge, you're adding the D4 or D6 to your unarmed strikes, and you're going to be a deadly fuck. So every time you get a raise, you're adding your spirit die, which is going to be at least a D8. Then you're adding a D6 or a D4 on top of that every time somebody comes near you. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
it's really cool.
So you have to work hard to get to that point, but it pays off, man.
But if you do, it's like really rewarding.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be said, one of my favourite hidden school names is the Way of the Gourd, which basically means Way of the Pumpkin. So, James, that's one for you, mate.
The Gourd School's cool. If I remember rightly, they're frowned upon by the other schools, aren't they, because of their tactics?
Yeah, they think that they're like layabouts because they're like the drunken boxing
That's
school.
it.
But actually, I would love that.
And there's like a belly. I can't remember what it is now.
Drunken boxing style,
It's really cool. Yeah, what it is they look so stupid that it makes the person they're fighting doubt themselves, and then they get all these attacks on them because they don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Then there was a little quote that I saw in the book that I wanted to read out. So it says, in the Blackwood, it's not uncommon to see classicists, which are the people that study the five classics, fighting with their books, cooks wielding ladles, barmaids knocking people out with tankards, and so on. Characters ignore the normal attack and parry penalties when wielding an improvised weapon associated with their trade or background.
Wicked.
Cool setting rule, like that.
That is a cool setting rule.
Next up is the Gazetteer and GM section. It's basically a detailed look at the whole world. And now, I read through most of this, and suffice to say, it's really decent, but I think now is a good time to talk about the elves and why they're not what we're used to. So here is a quote from Eli himself that he sent me on Hangouts yesterday. He said, "Elves are inspired by fairies from Grimm's tales rather than Legolas or Drizzt. I drew upon the fair folk tropes for elves in the Blackwood. Rumpelstiltskin, Der Elbkönig, Oberon and Titania, that sort of thing. Elves aren't mystical so much as they're weird and dangerous. I drew a little bit from the early fantasy writings of Lord Dunsany too, since he had a knack for writing some pretty weird stuff." So that's the quote, but essentially there's loads of different types, so I'll go through a couple. There's changelings, which can change shape. There's imps, which are little child-sized monstrosities that can disorient people with high-pitched noises. So just basically be like...
I think they swarm as well, don't they? I think they come in a swarm.
So enjoy that noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do come in swarms. And you've also got hollowbacks.
Yeah.
They look human, except they have sharper features upon closer inspection. So the thing is, you wouldn't even know, really, that you're talking to an elf until you really have a good look at them.
Yeah.
And by then it might even be too late. But on closer inspection, they have a giant hole in their back and have hollow wooden bodies.
That kind of creeps me out. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's horrible,
Makes me
isn't
feel
it?
really uneasy.
And they look very attractive and try to entice people into romantic relationships. So this is how... Yeah. Well, it's just another hole, isn't it? Yeah. But this is how you often end up with elf marks. Bad times.
We've got sapling elves.
Oh yeah, so you've also got sapling elves who can once in their lifetime give one target an elf mark. So if the target fails on a spirit roll -3, they essentially become the elf marked race permanently.
Oh my goodness.
End of story.
Yeah.
The best of all is the Nightmare Elf.
It sounds the best.
It doesn't.
Which appears to be inspired by more fantastic theories involving sleep paralysis. So it sits on your chest during that period between sleep and waking and summons a bunch of stony demons to help it.
Oh, like a succubus.
What it's essentially trying to do is send its target into some kind of nightmare realm, and it needs a few rounds to do this because it has to grapple you, then use its Nightmare Eyes ability on you, to send you into that realm.
Yep.
And it sits on your chest like when you're between that period of sleep and waking, right? And so the stony demons are there to sort of like fend the others off and hold you down while it does that.
That's creepy.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fucking
creepy.
horrible.
Yeah, that's a bit grim.
So basically, as you can see, elves are not the usual thing here. There are loads more, and they're all fucking wicked, but they're just not the usual thing. Anyway, enough about elves. In the GM guide, there's a gazetteer containing specifics about all the locations, and it's really good. I mean,
It's so in depth.
it really is. It's like stupid depth.
Yeah.
I won't go into details because I mean we're sort of trying to sell people on the setting, and I think we've done that quite a lot here.
Yeah, I'm sure we have.
Yeah, it's like the setting's amazing, and then you get all this extra material.
Yeah.
It's great. It really is.
There's a shitload of adventures in here. I think there's about 10, isn't there?
Yeah. You got like plot points. You got all sorts. In there.
Yeah, so there's
Encounters.
there's a mixture of plot points and Savage Tales, isn't there?
Savage Tales in there too. Yeah.
The Savage Tales are basically side stories or like smaller stories within the world, and then there's plot points which are like sort of like main
For a big to fill in the gap. So you got an overarching kind of big story with lots of points, then you can just kind of
Fill it in
connect
with
all
Savage
these little
Tales.
extra bits everywhere, and it'd be like launch this launch this small quest if you're in these locations because they work really well, or don't do it before you meet this guy because then the story works out. It's really, really easy. It does all the work for you, and you can just literally cherry pick a bit out if your guys decide to go somewhere. And it's all geared up, ready to go. It's really cool, yeah.
Exactly. So, like some of the adventures will literally say, run this plot point.
Yep.
If you want, insert a Savage Tale here.
Yeah.
And it's really, really well done.
Very, very well
it's
done.
quite a common thing among Savage Worlds, but for those that don't know that, that's how it's run in this
Yeah.
book. And I personally really like it.
GM
I've seen other books that do it really badly.
Okay.
And this is not one of them.
No.
Because I've seen, for example, Wonderland No More. Amazing book.
Yep.
But there's literally a point where it will just give you like half an adventure and go, now do 6 Savage Tales. And it's just like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas this one gives you like a couple of suggested Savage Tales that really fit.
And will work really well, yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. But the main one, like the big adventure, is called The Way of the Elder King, and it consists of 9 plot points and concerns the Elder King himself and the struggle between the civilized and the elves. And it looks fucking amazing. And having read some of it, I really don't want to spoil it, but it gets very high stakes very quickly, and it obviously concerns the main plot. And it's fucking awesome.
Yep.
Pretty much other than that, there's a bestiary that's decent. I would probably call it serviceable, but the main thing is the abundance of elves, obviously. That's what you really want. That's what you're here for, and it's got that. But we've already been into that. And the only thing left to speak about, of course, is the presentation. You guys have had a look at the book.
I tell you what, I quite enjoy it. Like I said, the cover in that is very elegant. I haven't had a chance yet to read through it, but it looks like it's presented really well. Definitely.
What I really
I like the hardcover version.
what I really liked about one of my favourite parts of the book is that you've got like the double spread of the world map, and then after that you've got literally, it will then kind of like snapshot into each area and give you a nice rundown of every single area on that map, and it really fleshes the world out.
Well, I think he's in a very lucky position because, he's an artist too.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's specifically a cartographer, so he drew the maps himself.
Of course, yeah.
So
I've seen some of Eli's maps before, actually. He
Yeah,
drew a
they're
really
decent,
cool
aren't they?
statue once, and it was like a map inside a statue.
Well, he drew the map for Saga of the Goblin Horde.
Ah, okay.
So,
excellent.
sweet,
he's he's very, very good map drawer or cartographer.
He's the real deal, isn't he?
I reckon the layout is really impeccable. It's awesome.
One of the best that I've seen.
I need to comment on the hardcover, right? Because Harris has got the hardcover here. I enjoy the amount of lip between hardcover and the pages. I don't know why.
It's that good
but
lippage.
There's slightly more
Yeah.
than your average hardcover, but I think it's really satisfying.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I think that's a drive-through RPG thing, but it's really good.
I like that it's part black and white, part colour. I think it works really well.
Blackwood.
The only thing is that I will say, I don't know. I got the standard heavyweight instead of premium heavyweight,
Okay.
and it's not as sharp. And I seem to I don't know. Some people have mentioned that to me
Are you
beforehand.
talking about the print?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it, can't you?
Yeah. So basically,
What do you reckon? Because I'll show you another one. Because this is basically Drive-Through RPG have this sort of standard printing service.
Yeah.
Now this is nothing to do with this book. I mean, this is just a little PSA in between here. So this is premium heavyweight. I'm handing you Winter Eternal for Savage Worlds. That's premium heavyweight. Now look at that. Now look at the standard heavyweight.
It's like grainy.
They've used a better printer,
Yeah.
basically.
But
No, I mean it's not that. I think it's the quality of the paper makes it.
Oh,
go.
sorry. Yeah, this is glossy. That's why.
And then the other one I think makes it if you're printing on standard heavyweight, it makes it less defined.
That's it. So yeah, it's just the paper
But
the print.
The thing
prints
is,
onto.
I think that the quality is not that noticeably bad. But
no, I think it works well as well in this, to be honest, because it's like all the
because it's an old setting.
yeah.
So and it's so infinitesimal that it's not. I don't give a shit. But my point is that be warned. I think that this is a very, very nice book, and I think it deserves premium heavyweight.
I think you're absolutely right.
But I wanted a hardcover, so I went for that instead.
I was going to say
Because I had limited money.
Yeah. No.
But I think presentation-wise, this book is one of the nicest ones I've seen in a very, very long time.
It looks easy to read.
Considering so many
Yeah.
people buy PDFs these days as well, I think that you know the artwork is great and it will look fantastic on a PDF, or you know what I mean. So
I think I agreed, but I also think this is one that deserves to be bought hardback.
100%.
Even though I think that Eli makes less money from that. But I don't know how it works. You probably make less money from a print copy.
Yeah, true.
But
buy it, own it. It's amazing. Own a physical copy. It's that good.
Because it's so good.
Yeah.
That's why I had to buy the physical copy, even though I was a bit broke.
Szia! Az én nevem Alan Rickman, és amikor épp nem a galaxis mentem meg, TableTopTwats hallgatok.
We all think that it's the sort of setting we would like to play. That's
Definitely.
a given.
I mean, like I said, this is my this whole thing that Harrison basically did the whole review. Nick read a good chunk of it as well, but I haven't managed to read through it. But following all of this and everything I learned from it, totally, it definitely seems like something I really enjoy playing because I love fantasy. I've always been a really high fantasy lover of because like Pathfinder being my original favoured setting and all that. So yeah, it's definitely up my street, and I love the element of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
And we love anything that breaks that mold. And
yeah, completely.
We grew up watching wuxia movies, and we watched a lot of kung fu movies as well. I know they're two different genres, but I think that considering that, as I said before, that wuxia means martial heroes, I think that sometimes the genres can bleed into each other a little bit. And to me, like having martial arts in that and fantasy, it's like my two favourite things in one.
Yeah, man.
And this sort of brings us on to like why we love it, but also the criticisms as well, because we totally, as we said, it's something that we wanted to run, and we absolutely love it because we love fantasy and we'd seen it done in every which way, but not this.
No.
And that's why I fucking love it, because you this comes out the gate and you're like, holy shit, this feels so different. I think it takes all that inspiration from the grim fairy tales, those dark fairy tales, and it creates something that's truly unique. When you're reading this, you're like, I can't believe he's managed to flip it on its head so much that he's done something that I don't expect. But it was advertised as Brothers Grimm meets fantasy meets wuxia. And I'm like, for something that is so all about the wuxia, all about the martial arts, I don't feel as if it has as much Eastern influence as I thought it was going to have.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, the fighting schools are cool and stuff, but I thought there might be more fighting dynamics connected to that.
Yeah, like a little bit more crunch.
Yeah, a little bit more crunch. I like the fact that if you're well disciplined in your school, you get bonuses and things like that. But at the same time, I don't know, a little bit more crunch on the martial arts side for me.
Yeah, like because you do have to work to get to that master skill.
Yeah.
But ultimately, do you reckon that would be worth it?
Well, the thing is, right, throughout this whole review of it, I've heard tons and tons of stuff to do with like the Brothers Grimm side of it, with the elves and like all the gross kind of what they call mutations you can get and all that nasty stuff, which I think is awesome. But I haven't heard enough about the wuxia stuff. I mean, they're there, but then they're a lot harder to grasp. I don't know if it's kind of on purpose that, in order to get to that level, like I suppose in sort of true wuxia ways, it's only really the masters and all that can do that level of fighting. So I don't know if that's the reason.
No, I think what it is that he focused on that kind of stuff. It's probably more prominent within the tropes of the storytelling, as opposed to actual physical things being included in there. Yeah. And so it's a bit less obvious if you don't know what you're talking about. And the annoying thing is I feel that I do. And I still feel like it wasn't that prevalent.
Okay.
And so, for a book that has massive Eastern influences, I would have liked to have seen, as I said, an Eastern race in there.
Yeah.
You've got a black one. Maybe a more Eastern inspired one would have been cool.
Yeah.
See, cool. I know that the Widelanders came to help, but maybe as part of the story, the Widelanders saw it getting fucked up, so maybe another race of Easterners, that maybe those were the ones that came in and taught them kung fu. I think that would have been would have been nice. Sorry, kung fu, martial arts. so I think that that would have been like a really, really nice addition. And additionally, I would have liked to have seen some Eastern-inspired monsters, because this draws on folklore a lot, like, but specifically like European, right? And I feel like if you had some Eastern folklore, because that is fucking creepy.
Yeah,
I imagine that he probably did with some of the elves, right? But maybe more with just the basic monsters too, because some of the Eastern folklore monsters are fucking horrible.
Yeah, a little bit more east.
That could be expanded on, maybe with an expansion. And
I think we're being picky because, you know, to give a fair review, you've got to give positive and a little bit of negative. And there's so little negative in there.
And
but
also,
at the same time,
like Harrison said, you know, we grew up watching like wuxia films and that, so
So
we're
as
really
big
aware
fans,
of it.
as big fans, then did it push your guys' buttons? Because I'm not so much of a fan of that kind of stuff. I've watched a few films over the time, but wasn't that.
Well,
much
just
into
say,
it.
like I just mentioned earlier, from this review, I just have noticed, like Harrison said, it's not as prevalent as perhaps I would have felt like I would have enjoyed a little bit more.
Cool.
yeah, and it was like that to me was one of the biggest draws to it. And when it was like, because to me, what I wanted to play when I got this was not a white guy doing martial arts. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
And like that to me doesn't necessarily feel whitewashy because it's a fantasy setting.
Sure.
If it was set in Asia and you were playing a white guy, maybe then it would have been offensive. But like this is a fantasy setting, so it's fine.
Do what you like,
but my point is that I kind of wanted to play an Asian dude.
Got ya.
And I kind of. Yeah, that's just it. And I kind of wanted to be fighting maybe some Asian-inspired monsters, giant enemy crab. But my point is that like it was just like little things like that. It irked me a little bit. But then that doesn't take away from the fact that what you do have. It's like instead of focusing on what it isn't, it's kind of dumb. I mean, it's the same reason that like a lot of people got really butthurt that Oblivion wasn't Morrowind when it came out, and it's like, but Oblivion's fucking fantastic. It's like it's stupid. It's kind of dumb because Blackwood is incredible, and
it is.
When we were reading it, we were just like, this is not your typical fantasy, and it's fucking great.
I just love
the first 5 pages really draw you in.
I love the amount of extra contents in there, and like Harrison said, how you've twisted so many things, and it is cracking. So
so we don't really want to like focus on what we felt was missing.
Yeah, it's just a little criticism, and by no means is it bad, because the book is just wicked.
I'd still buy the book, even if you guys told me that. I'd still buy the book.
Well, you have bought the book.
Well, yeah, exactly. Before we had reviewed it, but no, it's very
still,
good. I really enjoyed it. I sat down and read a good chunk of it yesterday, and I couldn't put it down. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Well, same here. Yeah, I read most of it. The only thing, I didn't properly read through was the plot point campaign. I read like the start of it, because obviously I'm not going to run it just yet, but I intend to run it very soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I absolutely loved it. But I recommend everyone go and buy the Blackwood, because it's brilliant, and
we all recommend it.
Yes,
Definitely.
exactly. So let's give it our usual, because we do this every time. Let's give it our usual star rating, because we always do this.
Always.
Out of 6,000. So I'm going to give it 5,781. James.
Yeah, some stars. Yeah, I'm gonna hand him some stars.
All right, and Nick, how about you, mate? How many thumbs up out of 6 million?
Okay, I'm gonna give it 5,6,575,000 million thumbs.
Okay, you've gone a little bit over, but that's good.
Right.
That's always a good thing.
Cool.
So
But where can you get it from?
You can get it from Drive-Thru RPG now, and that is a print-on-demand service. Alternatively, you can get it from go to the woods, find an elf,
Make a bond with him, and he'll give you a book.
but you will owe him something very bad. But next up, we got a little treat for you, because we've got Song Fight Mini.
Oh, it's back.
Song Fight. Okay.
What? Disclaimer. I didn't realise this was going to be a song fight.
I've duped him.
And also,
No excuses.
I was working from home, so I was doing this like mid working, so probably.
Yeah, so was I. There's no excuses.
No, but you always like.
Shut up.
I did it in like 10 minutes, all right? I wasn't proud.
So
of
did
it.
I, dickhead.
All right, mate.
All right, look.
better
So
than what I used to be.
the reason this is Song Fight Mini is because we've both done these in about 10 minutes, and the task was to do a rap song using the poem from the beginning of the Blackwood book. It's called, was it called The Ballad of the Ways Margin?
Yeah.
So first up, we're going to play James's, and Nick, you have to be the judge. You have to decide which one's better.
Cool.
Yeah, blood. Don't know.
Hold tight, tabletop twats, yeah? Big up the Blackwood. Eli, what's up? Huh, don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Beyond the village, there stands a tall hedge to keep the Blackwood at bay. Kept safe from danger, from pagans and elves, if only we follow the way. The way of the elder king, narrow and true, a guide to law and life. With aid from our ancestors, overhead we're saved from peril and strife. But there are those who falter, or those who choose to turn from fellowship and order, who want the realm to burn. But if you would stand against these trials, life of errantry calls to walk the way's margin, to seek out its fools, for self or for us all. Yeah! Big it up! Ballad of the ways margin, done know, tabletop twats blood, Blackwood, Eli Kurt, shut up your mum.
That ending.
Oh, wow.
Shut up your mum.
Shut up, your
Alright, I'll play you my one next.
Very good.
We ain't keeping it real, we're keeping it imaginary. It's time for the ballad of the ways margin, motherfuckers. Yeah. Beyond the village, there stands a tall hedge to keep the Blackwood at bay. Kept safe from danger from pagans and elves, if only we follow the way. Yeah, the way of the elder king. Narrow and true, a guide to law and life. With aid from our ancestors overhead, we're safe from peril and strife. But there are those who falter, or those who choose to turn from fellowship and order, who want the realm to burn. If you would stand against these trials, a life of errantry calls to walk the ways margin, to seek out its faults, for self and for us all. Even you, Chantel, and even you, Paul. Yes, that's right, for all. Yeah.
God.
So Nick, as the judge.
Wow. Oh, they're both shit. No.
No, you're right there.
It's a tough one. They both got their merits.
Look at that. He's like a father choosing between two shit drawings that his kids have done.
It's like parents evening at school.
They're both really good. Well
they've
done.
both got originality.
Yeah. Very creative.
No, this is fine.
He's like sticks it on the fridge for an acceptable amount of time.
I can't pick between the two, man. They're both very good.
Right, you've got to.
I've got to pick.
Go on.
Okay. They've both got a bit of freestyle in it. Stop it.
Nick, pick one.
I'm putting a vote up. I'm not picking.
No, pick one. You have to pick one.
No,
That's the
I can't,
point of the
because I like
segment.
them both.
Nick, pick one.
I can't.
Pick one.
Nick,
Okay.
thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thanks, Dick.
Well done.
Haven't heard that one before.
They're both very good, and they're both way better than anything I could ever do. So
That's not the point. You're supposed to be the judge. That was the
I'm a
point of
nice
this segment.
guy,
We
and I
spoke
just-
about this beforehand, and you said, "Oh, it'd be brilliant when we
no-
do song fight because James will be on it, and I could be the judge." That's what you said. It was your idea, and you fucked it up.
It's fine. Like, I already said that I wasn't proud of mine.
All right,
If
but
you
no,
want to choose,
no, it's irrelevant because the whole segment's rubbish now.
No, all right.
It's fine. No, don't worry, it's ruined. Right, next segment.
Welcome to the Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges.
Welcome to the Chamber of Challenges, and today we're bringing back an absolute classic
Yep.
of RPG challenges.
it's called.
What dat?
What dat?
We're bringing back What Dat because this is an RPG challenge. So James has created RPG related soundscapes, and we have to try and guess what dat.
What that?
So James,
Yep, number one.
what the fuck?
Look, honey, she's crawling.
I hate this.
So
What the hell was that, James?
that's the
What that? What that, boy? That was horrible. Okay, so I think it is a orc baby.
I think it's a possessed baby.
Alright. Final answers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, you're both wrong.
Oh.
All right, good.
It's
What that then?
it's Dungeon Crawl Classics.
What?
because it was dungeon sound, baby crawling, and the audio quality had you probably couldn't hear it well actually coming out of a phone speaker, but it was crackly like your classic.
Oh, that's so obtuse.
So tenuous. Oh my god.
Oh, I hate you.
Alright, fine.
Alright, next one. Alright, next one.
Yeah, next one.
So think more literal.
Okay, we have to get into his mind.
Ahaha, not quite good enough.
What the fuck? Play it again?
Yep.
Ahaha, not quite good enough.
That's a 1.
That was a dodge roll.
I thought it was a critical failure.
I see. I think I'll probably. It makes sense, yeah, dodge roll, but I just labelled it as it did not beat the AC. So it's
a
kind
miss.
of.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I'll give it to Harrison. There you go. Well done, Harrison.
Yay!
What? What? It was a 1.
Maybe a 1.
No, the 1 would be like, oh, I missed. You know.
Oh, yeah, then, no. Oh, I've stabbed myself instead.
I appear to have fumbled.
What's that? Alright, go on then. Next one.
Next one. Right, number 3.
James! Right.
No, listen.
No, wrong file.
James.
Wrong file.
Are you playing your personal sound file?
No.
Is this James a life of James?
The first one was really creepy. Now we've got this one. James,
Wait.
You have to come to us with something we can use in the podcast.
You can
do
use
understand
this.
that.
I'm doing what that
Wait,
next time.
you need to listen to
fuck's
this.
sake.
Wait, try and just listen to what happens.
Okay.
Right.
What, James? James!
Wait, no, you missed it. You missed it.
I can't.
No.
I can't do this podcast anymore.
I'm cancelling the feature.
It's got nothing to do with that.
Right, go on, from the top.
Right, I'll try.
Now try not to laugh.
What the fuck? Okay,
Someone walking through a swamp.
getting swallowed by an ooze.
Okay, I'll get it right. It was sanity loss.
How is
It
that
was-
sanity loss?
It was some gross ass nasty sounds. Someone going, there was a sound of dice rolling, and then a shock by the player and immediate crying.
Very good.
Oh.
Very good. They was walking through some bodies.
Oh, that really didn't. That sounded really, really lewd.
Very good. That's very good.
All right, next.
Go on then.
Okay.
If this sounds sexy, James, I'm cancelling the feature.
Look, it wasn't meant to sound sexy. It
Right,
was
but if it
meant to
does,
sound gross, and that did. It sounded gross.
it did, but in a sexy way.
Sexy gross.
sexy
Okay,
gross.
but children listen to this. Right, go on.
No, they don't.
I hope they don't.
All right, go on.
Number 4.
Right, James. Right, that's
What?
it. Right, we're
Cancelling it.
We're cancelling the sound.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
For fuck's sake, you can't even.
It's the wrong memory card.
It's not that.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Why do they all sound like something really terrible?
The phone speaker is not doing it justice.
Go on.
Look, just shut up and listen to the. I'll go like from the middle.
No, from the beginning.
Beginning.
Nick's face. Aliens versus Rednecks.
Yes, yes, it was.
Oh man, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, because I could hear that.
And your alien noises. Yes, thank you. Sorry, Nick, you didn't get a chance to.
Man.
I got Nick's face during that was a picture. He looked like that was happening to him.
It was
scared.
Yeah. Alright. And the last one.
What? Yeah, go on.
The last one. Here you go. This.
Go
on, do my bidding for me. Go fight, you stupid little minion.
Saga of the Goblin.
Saga of the Goblin Horse.
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, those are good, man.
Okay,
Well,
you may have single-handedly...
Yeah, we're cancelling that segment forever. I think it got too porno.
No, it did. They were just.
It did. There was a deep throat noise.
Got too highbrow, mate. Having stuff like
Jesus
that.
Christ. Oh, man. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Oh.
I made them all after the session on Thursday.
What was it a session of?
In the future, you will be able to send a letter from anywhere on the planet. This is the future. This is the Electro Letter.
Alright, so guys, welcome to the Electro Letters where we... Well, fuck, every time.
Where we were.
Oh, fuck, every time.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the Electro Letters where we read your mail from the internet. First up, let's get on the emails. We got one from Chris Hughes.
Yeah.
And he said, just found these new dice to feed Nick's addiction.
Jesus.
Let's try to describe them. So they look like golf balls.
They're golf balls, which each single dot numbered.
Yeah, so I can see that they go up to 205.
Wow, a
So it's a-
D205.
Well, there's 217 as well. There's definitely more.
So what is this, a D300?
No, it's a
D1000, isn't it?
It's a golf ball. How many sides does a golf ball have?
It's a golf ball.
A both. That classic both ball.
No, this is a D something, because I've seen that Spoonie has this in his dice video
Is
that
it
he made.
D1000?
Oh my god, shut up.
It's not a D1000. I think it might be a D500.
D500.
Yeah, something like that.
Man, I'm going to have to get that.
No.
No, I'm not.
Apparently they don't roll, because it is essentially just a ball. So you
Yeah.
just have to wait for the ball to stop.
Oh my, the games would take forever.
Roll D500.
Thanks, Chris.
So on this episode, we asked for those times at the table that made you cheer, that made everyone stand up and cheer, and those awesome moments. And so obviously, Owen Lean, he's sent in an email, and he says, so Deadlands is a Western game. When you think of the Wild West, you think cowboys, horse riding, cactuses, desserts. I think he meant deserts.
I think of desserts. I think.
You don't tend to think about swimming.
No.
Unfortunately, in Savage World, swimming is a skill, and if you don't have that skill, you can't swim. Thus, when a party of 6 of my players went to investigate strange goings-on in a nearby lake, and one of them snake-eyed their riding role, they found themselves in a tiny spot of bother. As our first hero splashed around helpless, another thought quick and chucked a lasso in after them. Success! They caught the drowning man, and with a strength roll to pull them up, snake eyes. The current somehow is so strong it pulls him in as well. Cue the huckster, realising if she teleports into the water with another hero, they can each grab one, and then she can teleport them all back. Great idea. And the first roll goes great, but with enough power points for the journey home, she has to deal with the devil, and that goes spectacularly badly. The resulting backlash teleports all 4 of them further into the water. And so the party's British ninja steps up to the plate. Hello. He has no swimming and has no chance at all, making it to them and back again. Unfortunately, he has the Code of Honour hindrance, and there is a woman in danger, so he carefully removes and folds his jacket and dives in. On a D4-2, he rolls a 39.
Whoa!
30 bloody 9. This is the moment that we all stand up and cheer. And a roll that absurd, I have to say that he manages to swim out there, tie together a raft of bushes and carp, hoists everyone aboard, and persuades the corralled fish to carry them to shore. Yes, that was the best explanation I came up with. I was tired. The party carried on towards their destination and agreed never to speak of this again.
Brilliant. I can remember a time when we all cheered. Shameless plug coming. Triple crit roll on our first AP of DCC.
Yeah, I mean, we forgot to mention this in what we've been saying, really, but for those that don't know, we are doing a monthly actual play of Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yep.
And Nick got 3 crit rolls.
Genuine.
In a row.
It was amazing.
3 separate dice.
And it couldn't have been needed at a more intense time.
Man, and we screamed. I mean, we were doing an early morning game. Your poor wife.
Yeah,
I think we woke her up.
She was in bed and she heard us all going. The first one happened. We were like, yes.
Yeah.
The second one happened. Yes. Third one happened. Ah! and she literally got woken up by it. She was bloody annoyed.
I listened back to the AP, obviously, and the hairs literally stood up on the back of my neck. It's such you can hear our emotion in it. So it's genuine.
That was the point
emotion.
where I always put like music and sound effects and stuff and ambient sounds into those actual plays. And that was the point. I didn't even bother. I just turned the music off because I was like, oh, that's enough really.
Yeah, man. So cool.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
So the next one, Jay.
Next one comes in from Richard Walcock from Google Plus. He says, in an official D&D module for Eberron, the PCs entered a large cavern, crossed a walkway over a river of lava, and found a large stone sarcophagus on the other side. Instead of opening it and looking for loot, they tried to shove it into the lava. So I described the adventure's big bad leaping out of the sarcophagus. It was a huge, mummified half-dragon. One of the PCs won the initiative, so he bull rushed the mummified half-dragon, got an amazingly good roll, and knocked it off the edge and into the lava. It took a load of falling damage, followed by a load of fire damage, which was then doubled because mummies are vulnerable to fire. Instant kill.
Oh no!
The players all cheered, and then we had a discussion about why on earth someone would put a mummy beside a lava flow.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't expect somebody to shove it in the lava, though.
No, it's
to be fair.
That's wicked, though. That sounds
That's
fun.
really cool.
Wicked, Rich. And the next one comes in from Tony Fanning. He says, "No, that's lame. Who does that?"
As in cheering at the table.
Yeah.
Just get it. That's another shameless plug I wanted to make as well, because if you are a patron of ours, you will make it into the Dungeon Crawl Classics actual play.
Absolutely.
As evidenced by the fact that Fanning City is the name of the city.
Absolutely.
And it's named after Tony Fanning, who is one of our patrons. We've got Cutthroat Jenkins.
Cutthroat Jenkins.
Who is named after Zach Jenkins.
Yeah.
Gary McCallum was one of the legendary warriors who was the brother of the Chaos Lord. But you guys didn't really get a chance to explore that particular backstory.
Oh, we had Terry Hansen messing everything up. The villager.
Terry. Yeah. So thanks Tony for your patronage, and thank you for being a city.
Yeah, thanks for
being a city. Yeah. Thanks,
imagine
Tony.
if that was his really specific fetish, and he was listening to it, and he's like, "Oh, I just love to be a city.
I've always wanted to be a city."
And he's listening to it, and he's just like, "Oh my god, these guys!
My dreams have come true."
Oh, best guys ever."
He says, "Just kidding. Just a few weeks ago, I was running the final session in an almost 2-year-long FFG Star Wars campaign set just after The Force Awakens. I had a female Knight of Ren as a recurring villain that had attacked, wounded and scared several members of the party over the course of the campaign as she hounded their every move across the galaxy. So when 3 Force-sensitive characters finally cornered her and fought an epic lightsaber battle, one of them losing an arm in the process, that culminated in her being beheaded, the entire table stood and cheered. Even though she wasn't the real big bad, in the final chapter, my players had gotten so sick of her getting away or chasing them away that when she was defeated, it was a much more emotional victory."
Awesome.
I like that.
2 year long.
So for 2 years she was like, "Ha ha!" getting in the way, and in the end they were just like, "Right, cut her head off."
Yeah. Imagine like at the end of every fucking battle, somebody's just like, "Rah! And now see you later." Yeah, and then they were just like, "Right, that head's coming off."
That's it. Enough of you, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Thank you very
so well
much.
done, his players.
Yeah.
Next email we got comes in from Stumpy.
Hey, new guy alert.
He's our new patron, so look out for him.
Stumpy on the old G+, innit?
Yep, and he says, binge listening to your podcast up to this episode after it being mentioned on episode number 6 of You Meet an Italian podcast. Was loving hearing proper British humour. Then you started mentioning places I knew. Okay. I'd driven past the the day before I heard you mention it. I don't remember us mentioning that by name. Did we? Because I thought we
we always never put the name in.
I thought,
it's the only game. It's the only gaming shop in the South East.
Gaming shop in Red Hill.
But we often mention when we have bad experiences at our local gaming store. I don't think we mentioned it.
He probably just knows it.
No, he probably knows. Well, how does he know that we live in Red Hill?
Because we've said that a million times.
Have we?
Yeah.
And then we've said local gaming store.
Yeah. He's put 2 and 2 together. He's a bloody detective, Stumpy.
Okay, so I'm going to bleep that name. And he says, and I've had a few curries from.
Yeah.
Remember those rumours that they found half a dog in their freezer?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the one.
Okay, I'll believe the name of that restaurant
When we
too.
lost Pete Malloy. He was at the curry shop, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, we called them up. By the way, it's not just the States where twat means ladies' parts. I was dragged up in Newcastle, and it was along with cunt one of the 2 words that my mum heard anyone saying she would either cringe or go nuts depending on who said it. Keep up the good work. I've a few more episodes to listen to. So, no, we know that that's what twat means, but it's just down here, definitely down south, it's not that offensive.
No, mate, I'm not being funny. If it's said on The Apprentice, which is the BBC, and I've heard the word twat used about 3 times, then it's fine.
And I could say it to my mum and be like, oh, shut up, you twat. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, like, in the States, you say twat.
Twat.
That's
Twat.
it. Get out.
That's it.
And it's like, it's like, oh, that's like saying the C word, the bad C word.
To your mum.
But yeah, we'll definitely bleep the place names there because that was
good detective work, Stumpy.
Yeah, he's figured out who's been giving us all that bad service. So I would say, Stumpy, only go into that store if you're really desperate for something to get somebody for their birthday or something.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our next lot coming from Facebook, and we've got Frank Ashcraft who sent in something saying, "Stand up moment. I was GMing a Deadlands campaign when a small group of Mohawks attacked the players' camp in the middle of the night. It was supposed to be a small bump in the road type of encounter. Only one player heard them coming up, the rest slept unknowingly. Within 2 rounds, one player was dead. One player was hit by an arrow, incapacitated, and lost the use of his arm. And one player was just incapacitated, unconscious. Players thought that they were done for sure. In walks the lone-made scientist, PC, with his fireball launching cannon. First shot hit, and the damage dice exploded, doing close to 60 damage.
Whoa,
with
nice.
2d6 with no extra damage dice.
Wow.
That's awesome. Everyone is standing up and clapping and cheering. He continues to decimate the attackers, exploding the dice massively on each hit. At the end of it all, he had saved the entire party. Everyone was losing their shit."
Wicked.
That sounds awesome.
Does.
You know, the funny thing is I know exactly what he meant, but throughout it, when he said one player got shot in the arm, I imagined it the player, not the character. I don't know.
Just at a table.
Yeah, he's like, and then suddenly this other guy's just rolling, going, I'm damaging him. And you're like, hang on a minute, pay attention. Your player's just been shot with an
Bleeding
arrow.
out over there, yeah. I just couldn't get the idea of a small group of Mohawks, just like small guys.
Or just a disembodied mohawk.
Massive.
Just the hair.
Yeah. Listen to rock music.
Hey, I'm just a wig, man. Leave me alone. Yeah, and then Frank Ashcraft also asks us a question. He says, what's your favourite experienced or have yet to be done campaign kickoff that wasn't You Meet in a Tavern?
I did You Meet on a... No, well, I did You Are in a Campsite.
So I guess, the question really is like, what's your favourite first session? But it's so easy because most people just draw on what's the most recent one that you've liked, but I've got to say the first Gotham one really did kick it off. I haven't smiled that much in the first session. I haven't got into it that much in the first session. All the characters gelled really well.
Oh man, yeah.
I think that might be the best first session I've played.
That was a great start. And all it was an empty black room with a grill in the middle, and then up pops Joker with his dogs.
Yeah.
And then, well, off we go. That was a very good one.
And there were so many little things, like when we were in the room, and I said, have we got our gear? And he went, yeah, you've got your gear. And I went, idiot, like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's a shit GM. And, like, it turns out that's because Batman wanted to see how we were using it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, I was just like, fool. And I'm like, have we got the internet? He's like, yeah, you've got the internet. I'm like, this guy doesn't even know what he's doing. And then, like, by the end of the campaign, we were just like, by the end of the session, we were just like, yay! Yeah, that was amazing. But
I'm trying to think of another one, just because we already mentioned it in what you've been saying. But I mean,
you started your game in the lab.
It was amazing. It was cracking. Yeah, but I can't say my own game, can I?
Yeah, you can.
I just did.
Well, I was the one. No, but your favourite one, wasn't it?
Yeah, my own is always my favourite.
Yeah, but like for first sessions ever,
Kicking it right off.com.
I think
What
was
Pete
your
is King
favourite?
Kickoff.
He's King Kickoff.
He is, isn't he?
I think he wins it. because I can't think of another one that I've liked more than that.
I'm gonna mention one. It was my first experience of
Mate,
DC.
you can't say your own game.
No, not my own game.
He was about to say something else, Nick.
My first experience of DCC when we did our 4-session interim game that Harrison ran.
Mm-hmm.
The first session of our level 0 dungeon crawl.
Yeah, that was pretty decent.
Actually, to be fair, when we first played DCC, we
on your birthday.
on my birthday.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
When we did it, Nick, and we did
Court of Chaos.
Court of Chaos,
Yeah.
and we did with the level 1 characters.
Yeah.
That was pretty decent.
That was very, very
But
good.
I don't think it as a first session. I don't know if it comes close to Batman.
That was fun when Pete made his little house. Do you remember we would come in the house?
because that doesn't count as a campaign kickoff though.
That's true.
Because that was a one-off session.
No, Pete's King Kickoff.
He's King
Yeah,
Kickoff.
King
mate.
Kickoff.
Because the puns were so high in that
Yeah.
game. It was crazy.
Corn
yeah.
fat.
Yeah, and lastly, our last little one that's popped in from Mr. Owen Leanup
On Facebook.
on Facebook. He says, "Have you considered doing a video podcast?" Yes, we went live once. It was horrendous. Go look on Facebook.
야, 내 이름은 게리 가각스고 내가 러시안 애들 패고 있지 않을 땐 넌 테이블탑 트왓의 방송을 듣지.
This bit is being broadcast
So
live
now-
on Facebook.
So
Yeah.
so Owen, you got your request.
You got your
You
request,
got the
Owen.
request, mate.
So well done, I guess.
You asked, we granted.
Exactly.
So, thank you everyone for sending your letters in. We like them. Thank you very much for doing that. Additionally, good letters.
Good letters.
Good letters.
Good stuff.
James, you're good at numbers, being
Yeah.
Asian. If you were to give those letters a number rating out of 6 million, what would you
No,
like?
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give it a number rating, not out of any specific thing, but I'm gonna give it a number, right? I'm gonna give it maybe.
What's the number you like?
A solid 6.
There you go, a solid
Fuck's
6.
sake. All right, so that brings us to the end of another podcast, right? And that means that what we need to do
Is do the contact details.
is do the contact
Oh, yeah,
details.
well done for remembering. They put us off all this
So
stupid stuff.
If any of you guys watching live or anybody that's going to be listening to this podcast in the future would like to get in touch with us 3 idiots, then please do. And you can do that by emailing us.
Just call James on 07.
At 9.
Shut up.
Now you can get in contact with us by emailing us at tabletoptwats@gmail.com, or what else can you do?
You can go on. You can go on to Facebook, which is facebook.com/tabletopt.
We've got Twitter,
which is at tabletoptwats.
Yeah.
And of course, we used to have a Tumblr, but it's gone now.
But most importantly, get yourself over to G+, the Nerds International community. Come say hi. We're always knocking about around there. A lot of great people. And yeah, get involved.
And that means that we have to do a thought of the day.
Thought of the day.
And because, you know, when you haven't got this podcast in your ears, you know, you're not
Yeah,
doing...
what else are you gonna do?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do
true.
with your
What
life?
the hell are you
You're
doing?
going to go and read a book you don't know how to read.
That's why you're listening to this.
So
Yeah, we read for you.
Exactly, we read shit for you, and that's why you're doing this. And the question of the week is obviously going to be, what the fuck is a Sonic? The other day, right, I was at a boot sale and I picked up a strange book, a strange unlabelled book that merely had a symbol on the front. And when I read this book, I looked inside and it simply said that actually, when you realise one thing, you realise that we actually all come from the earth and that we are all made from carbon, and that one day we will actually return to the earth once again. We will simply be eaten by worms, and that we will all become one being once again. And once we are one being once again, we can reform into a golem. And once we are this golem, we can reclaim the earth. We can kill the queen, and we will be able to reclaim the earth, and we will write a message into its core. And this message will be... Chicken McBosh! Hello. So it's probable that a lot of people don't even know that there's a bit after the credits, so to speak. And from now on, there isn't going to be, basically. We'll probably start doing it again at some point. However, those radio dramas take a long, long time to edit. And it was getting a little bit silly. Essentially, originally, I'll give you a little look behind the curtain. Originally, with the Alan Rickman one, I used to write them and then produce them all myself, and it took bloody ages, and it was very, very hard to do. And in actual fact, it took me equally as long just to edit those short 10-minute bits that it did the entire rest of the podcast. So, with the second season, with the Bonacons and Vagabonds ones, we essentially improvised the whole thing and didn't have a big story in mind. We just improvised the whole thing, which is why I think, to an extent, it suffered in quality in comparison to the original season with the Alan Rickman storyline. So what I was going to do with the new one was do sort of another sci-fi drama, this time a space opera drama about a guy that loves movies and is on a quest to find an old VHS tape. That was what it was going to be about. And it was going to be written again instead of improvised, and it was going to be a space opera type thing. Now, the only trouble is, if we're going to be continuing to do the actual play, which is a thing that we are going to be doing, that takes a very, very long time to edit because of all the sound effects and the cinematic way that we like to do them. That is just the way that we like to do them. We think that people enjoy that too, and it's our unique way of doing them. Now, if we continue to do those, when we do these mainline episodes, I can't really justify putting a hell of a lot of effort into something after the credits and time that people are unlikely to see, if you catch my drift, when the actual plays are taking me 2 full days to edit at this point, and it are incredibly hard. So for now, I'm going to put this post-credits bit on the on after the episodes on hiatus. Hopefully, if I get extra time from God knows where, I will try to start it back up, but I don't know if that's going to be possible, considering at the moment I'm doing The Wild Die, this, the actual plays, as I said, and of course my anime podcast, which is called Teach Me Senpai. So, yeah, I don't know. But, like I said, I didn't think the last season of this post-credits bit was that particularly good anyway, so I don't think they'll be missed. I'm glad that we did the first one. I thought that was cool, but yeah, cheers, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the main bit of the episode. See you later. Chicken McBosh.